from the Bureau of Statistics shows overall consumer prices rose 5.2% for the year to August. Rents and insurance costs have climbed, but fruit and veg prices went down. Independent economist Chris Richardson says he's not expecting interest rates to rise on the back of these numbers.
It's a worry. Hopefully it's not a big worry. The Reserve Bank would usually look through something like that, but it's been a long and pretty bloody fight against inflation, so they will be keeping a close eye on it.
Jacinta Allen hopes her political rise sends a strong message to women around the country as she becomes the 49th Premier of Victoria. She fought off a challenge from her now Deputy Ben Carroll to be appointed unopposed. Ms Allen says it's a deep honour to become just the second woman to lead Victoria after Joan Kerner.
Joan was a wonderful mentor and support to so many of us, and I think it's fair to say men and women across the Labor movement. So it's not lost on me that I am only the second woman to lead this state, and that is also comes with some emotion, and I hope too that it sends in some way a message to younger women. Leadership does come in different shapes and sizes.
While more than 1,000 people staged a party outside State Parliament celebrating the departure of Daniel Andrews. Almost 1,000 Defence Force troops and their families are set to leave SA under a major restructure. They'll move from Edinburgh north to Brisbane, Townsville and Darwin, while a missile base is established here in 2025. Details will be announced today by Defence Minister Richard Marles. Scientists are developing vaccines to protect against the next pandemic, even though it's unknown what disease will cause it. More from Max White.
As the world emerges from the worst of COVID-19, scientists are already looking at how to prepare us for the next pandemic. International experts are creating vaccines for high-risk families of viruses that they've coined Disease X. It's hoped they'll be able to rapidly tweak the vaccines to respond to an emerging threat. Scientists are modelling injections on illnesses which have sparked outbreaks across the world, including a deadly respiratory syndrome which has been transmitted from camels to humans in the Middle East. Experts warn tweaking vaccines still takes time and their effectiveness cannot be predicted.
US Army Private Travis King is on a flight back to the US after being returned to American custody 2 months after crossing into North Korea. He sprinted over the demilitarised zone from South Korea while on a civilian tour. It was feared the country would drag out his detention in the hopes of squeezing concessions from Washington. But US State Department spokesman Matthew Miller says tensions between the nations remain high.
I would not see this as the sign of some breakthrough. I think it's a one-off with them being willing to return this private.
And Hollywood writers are back at work today after a 5-month strike over pay claims. The board of their unions voted to accept what they describe as a meaningful deal on pay and protections. Late night talks are now expected to be the first programs to resume production. But a parallel strike by Hollywood actors shows no signs of resolution. Now turning to FIVEAA Sport.
Get 10-year warranty and 10 years capped price servicing on the new Mitsubishi Outlander at Agostino Mitsubishi.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Kendall. Geelong coach Chris Scott has reiterated he doesn't want to trade Asafa Ratugolea to Port Adelaide in the upcoming trade period. Scott was in town yesterday for a function and told reporters he wants the 25-year-old to stay at the Cattery. Well, meantime, Magpie star Jeremy Howe thought he'd been lucky to be back in the side, let alone playing in a grand final, after his horrific arm injury in round 1. The 32-year-old went down in a mid-air collision, falling awkwardly. He's told Footy Classified the injury was challenging.
When you kind of lay in that hospital bed for the best part of 2 and a bit weeks, perspective played a bit of a role, and it's quite remarkable to think that, I was able to get back and play any footy at all, but for us to be playing off in the last game of the year, it's truly impressive, and I'm super stoked to be a part of it.
Let's go to cricket, and Australia has broken its 5-game ODI losing streak with a 66-run win against India in Rajkot overnight. The Aussies amassed 7 for 352 thanks to half-centuries from all of Mitch Marsh, Steve Smith, Dave Warner and Marnus Labuschagne. And the Aussies then dismissed the home side for 286 with Glenn Maxwell taking 4 wickets. Meantime, the Redbacks will be in action in their Marsh Cup match today against Queensland, hoping to bounce back after their first up loss against WA. And in some rugby league news to finish, Newcastle fullbacks Calum Ponga and Tamika Upton have won the top NRL and NRLW awards at the Dally M Awards medals last night. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Can't remember when you had your brakes checked? It's been too long. Call 1300 Automasters now.
A sunny day heading for 25, sunny again tomorrow, 28, up to 31 on Saturday, and then cloudy on Sunday down to 21. At the moment, 7. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
If you're living with a disability, injury or health condition and looking for work, visit maxima.com.au.
6 after 6, good morning to you. Welcome to Thursday on 5AA Breakfast. Another beautiful spring morning, late September. Big morning ahead too. We're off to the US in the first hour of the program. We'll be talking about the second Republican primary debate. Again, it won't feature Donald Trump, though, who'll loom large over the whole thing. Tim Lester will join us just before 7 o'clock. Matt Abraham will be on the show today as we rate some schools.
Out of 10, every time.
And David Koch will join us as well. Lots to talk to Koch about in the footballing world. Obviously, we're just 2 days away from the AFL Grand Final, but yesterday, the inflation data that came out raised the spectre of an interest rate rise sooner rather than later. We'll get Koch's analysis after 8 o'clock. David Penberthy, good morning to you.
Good morning, listeners. Good morning, Will. I'm sure that all will be a lot more civil. It wasn't uncivil with Kochie last week, but it was a bit frosty, wasn't it? By our normal standards.
Yeah.
It was felt duty bound to text him later that day. Nothing personal, mate. Hope you're well. Football sucks, etc. You don't feel that sort of compunction, though, do you? Shaking your head at me like, what is wrong with you, you ponce?
Not at all. It's part of the cut and thrust.
Maybe I do it in a disingenuous fashion where I've had every intention of making a you-know-what of myself in the interview,
right,
but then send the matey text anyway.
Yeah, okay. The mate good afterwards.
Yeah.
It was well received, though, by all reports.
Yeah, oh, yeah, no.
The text,
we've always got to... Yeah, no, David Koch is a smart bloke. He's been in the media too long to not have come on the show last week expecting that that's exactly how that interview was going to pan out.
And anybody watched his, 200 years on Sunrise? Well, no, Kochie delivered a few eviscerations of his own over that time.
Oh, hell yeah.
He knows how the game's played.
Hell yeah. No, it's going to be good. But who better to talk to about CPA?
Exactly right. Well, Kochie, sorry, I'm going to stop you there, mate. No, I don't think there won't be as many interruptions this time.
Imagine that. So just look at the new composition of the Reserve Bank Board. Clearly they saw the need for renewal. So why did you reappoint Ken Hinkley for another 2 years before the finals? No, we won't go down that path.
None of
we
that.
won't go down that path.
I presume we'll be going for Brisbane. There's not a lot of love between Collingwood and Port Adelaide football clubs in the past. Although there's a sense that the things have defrosted a little bit in the absence of Eddie Maguire.
Yeah, there is.
But I reckon there's still... That's a proper rivalry, isn't it?
I reckon Brisbane would almost be the Power fans' second team, given they were kind enough to lose the 2004 Grand Final.
But you and I both know old Port Maggie's fans who have a soft spot for Collingwood.
Yeah.
That's how they did it.
I know ex-Port players who barrack for the Pies still, who refuse to barrack for the Power in the AFL, because even the very mention of the name Power sends them into... a blind rage. Like, who are they?
Well, I'm interested.
How many flags have they won?
Let's canvass our Port Adelaide fan listeners this morning. Is Collingwood sort of like, are they friend or foe?
Yeah, it's a good question.
Are they a rival, or do you have a soft spot for them? How do you approach Collingwood these days? There's lots changed since Port Adelaide's come into the AFL.
I reckon it would be a bit like the relationship Sturt fans have with Carlton, because prior to the Crows being in the competition, a lot of Sturt supporters went for the Blues in the VFL.
But Sturt and Carlton haven't had a blood feud in the last couple of years.
No, they haven't. But I don't really like Carlton now. Carlton drive me mad. Yeah, Carlton. Particularly after the cloud over the Dick Pratt premiership that they won. But no, back in the day, David Parkin used to come over quite a lot to Adelaide. He had a special relationship with Sturt. And then there were a few players like, most obviously Motts, but prior to that, Robert Klomp went from Sturt over there. So, but it's just the colour. A lot of it's just the colour. Like, a lot of Bays fans go for Richmond as well. Got the same song. Had to listen to it over and over last Sunday, annoyingly.
Few
Hey,
texts.
what's the oldest birthday party you've ever been to? Have you ever been to a 100th birthday?
Oh, no. What would the oldest be? A grandparent? I don't know. I'm not even sure I've been to one in people in their 90s. Certainly in their 80s. My great aunt had her 100th, but I wasn't able to go to it. But no, I don't know. Certainly none as distinguished as Henry Young's birthday.
Because I went yesterday to his party, yesterday afternoon. It was so good. Did you know one thing about Henry Young? You know, we all know, this sort of passed me by a bit in all the chats I've had with him. So we all know that he plays tennis 4 times a week. Do you know what he also does once a week?
What?
He has tennis coaching.
What, he's doing the coaching or he's being coached? He's
being coached. Because he wants to improve his game.
What more could he learn about tennis?
But isn't that a good lesson for life that, you know, you should never really get to the point where you think, oh, yeah, I'm going all right now. Like he was telling me yesterday, I'm still not happy with aspects of my game. So I think it's every Wednesday, he has a I think 2-hour lesson.
You forgive most people getting to 100 and saying, you know what, I'm over the whole self-improvement thing. I'm happy to say I've peaked.
Yeah.
That's remarkable that he's still trying to get better.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Dutton's text first thing this morning. The moon was a beautiful night. Orange ball over the horizon this morning. The moon, I didn't see it. I wonder if anyone snapped any photos of it. Thank you to that text. It didn't provide a name. Con says the Liberal HQ phone and email spams have started. The dumb slogan, don't know, won't know, insulting our intelligence that we can't work out issues and worse, shouldn't even try. Thank you, Con.
I like that text, Con. I hate that slogan. I think it's really... It plays to the absolute lowest common denominator. Don't you reckon?
Yeah. It seizes on the fact that they're... You know what I think the ugly truth about that slogan is? You could run that on so many issues.
Oh, yeah, you could run it.
Because it plays to the idea that you just sort of actively disengage with debate and discussion.
It's been used by both sides of politics. It was used... It was a version of it was used about the GST, I think. If you don't understand it, don't vote for it, because if you did understand it, you wouldn't vote for it.
Yeah.
Which is, again, pandering to, you know, almost trying to make people take a degree of pride in their stupidity.
It sort of legitimises people being totally uninterested in politics.
Yeah.
And how the country's run.
It encourages them.
So it's not on me to work stuff out.
Oh, I don't know.
It's a good out.
Like, the voice is really easy to understand, but that doesn't mean you have to agree with it.
Absolutely.
You know, it's a constitutionally enshrined advisory body to the Parliament, and the Parliament is free to ignore or accept its advice. End of story. But, you know, on that basis, you can then say, well, why is it in the Constitution? Who's doing the advising?
Yeah.
What are they getting paid? What are they advising the government on? They're all legitimate questions. But just going, oh, I don't know. Duh. Good on you, Con. I like it.
8223 You can text us too on the Dutton's text line. We need to some news headlines next.
South Australia boasts many one-of-a-kind destinations, but only one has the best local produce, super specials, cheap eats, pantry essentials and more. With over 70 traders under one roof, the Adelaide Central Market has something for everyone. It's open every Tuesday to Saturday with late-night trading Friday, plus live music and free kids' activities on Saturday. If you can't visit the market, order online for home delivery every Tuesday, Thursday and Friday. AdelaideCentralMarket.com.
Honey?
Yeah?
I think it's time we started sleeping with other people.
Oh, you mean like Wendy and Dave?
Yes!
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen their Austrac camper?
Yeah, how good is the bed setup?
Did you know it's got an indoor and an outdoor?
Austrac campus.
Now, most lotteries are one and done. One big draw, winners and losers. Thanks for playing well. Not the St John Christmas Home Lottery.
There's $1.1 million worth of weekly prizes to be won. You can win a Dream Encounter Bay holiday home and win over $550,000. And the house worth $550,000. You also get $50,000 in cash.
What about that? But that's not to say that the grand prize isn't even more spectacular. Worth $5.2 million, it includes a beautiful waterfront West Lakes home, or you can choose to take $4.5 million in cash.
But you've got to be in it to win it, so get your tickets before midnight Sunday to be in the draw for the first of 3 homes and all weekly prizes. Buy your ticket now at stjohnlottery.com.au. Licence number M14453.
I'm Kathy Nagel, the Chief Executive of Western Hospital Henley Beach. Eye healthcare, cataract surgery and glaucoma management are all health issues that can appear unexpectedly, and specialist treatment is often required. Western Eye Care at Western Hospital boasts 7 ophthalmic surgeons, on-site diagnostics, surgery options and a wide range of aftercare for all eye healthcare needs. For more information, visit westernhospital.com.au or call 8159 1200. That's 8159 1200.
It's easy to get behind the wheel of a new Mawson Lakes Volkswagen right now. In fact, it's ridiculously easy. All you need to do is head to the showroom on Salisbury Highway, check out the range of new and demo Volkswagens on sale now, and then pick your favourite. How easy is that? All stock is ready for immediate delivery, with easy finance options available. And remember our next day servicing. Mawson Lakes Volkswagen, Salisbury Highway, just a short drive from the city.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Jobs, apprenticeships, traineeships and careers. Maxima can help. Learn more today at maxima.com.au.
17 after 6 news headlines on this Thursday, the 28th of September. As we revealed earlier in the week, almost 1,000 Defence Force personnel will be shifted from SA up to Northern Australia in the biggest army overhaul in a decade. This is going to be officially confirmed by the Defence Minister later today. The move designed to prepare the nation's military for a possible conflict in the nearby Indo-Pacific. The Albanese government also announced today the creation of a new army brigade. This is the one that will be based here in Adelaide, focused on long-range strike and missile defence. The Premier's comments in the paper are really interesting about this. We will talk about them after 7 o'clock today, because he welcomes what this means in a big picture sense about advanced manufacturing and cutting-edge defence technologies being homed here. But the idea of moving thousands of people away, he was a bit reserved about, understandably, and he sort of has a sort of I'll believe it when I see it attitude towards when all these personnel come back after 2025.
The brigade, yeah. Because, and, you know, to use a defence analogy, we talk about the valley of death in shipbuilding. This is almost like the valley of death in people living here. Because we definitely know that the first lot are all heading up to Darwin, but when's the brigade starting?
2025.
Yeah, okay. Yes.
So
how often does defence policy change and get delayed, though?
It seems to be in a constant state of being reviewed.
Yeah.
Hundreds of early voting centres will open next week, 2 weeks ahead of the voice referendum. The Electoral Commission is encouraging voters to plan when they'll cast their ballot. Voting centres in SA will open from Tuesday. I've just got this sneaking suspicion we might break all sorts of records when it comes to people voting early and voting postally and so forth.
Because they're sick of it?
Yep.
Yeah.
No one wants to turn up.
I'm sick of people like Bo. This is what Bo says on the Foodland Facebook live stream when I thought we were having a fairly thoughtful and like unbiased discussion before about political tactics. Bo says, "Ha ha, not surprised you would be against it," the slogan. Thanks. "It actually work and don't care. You leftists don't like it. Get over yourself."
Well, Bo...
Oh, yawn.
Bo...
Dearie me.
The problem with these people who write these things is their listening comprehension tends to be sadly lacking. I've got huge reservations about entering the voice in the Constitution. Now, I think it's a stupid slogan.
Yeah.
Those positions aren't mutually exclusive.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think that Albanese couldn't have stuffed it up more if he tried. And then if they'd gone down the path that the state government did here, we probably wouldn't be having a massive national argument about it.
Completely.
Anyway, Bo,
anyway,
good luck with your struggle.
Jacinda Allen hopes her political rise sends a strong message to women across the state as she becomes the 49th Premier of Victoria. Miss Allen says it's a deep honour to become just the second woman to lead the state, following Joan Kerner.
Joan was a wonderful mentor and support to so many of us, and I think it's fair to say men and women across the Labor movement. So it's not lost on me that I am only the second woman to lead this state, and that is also comes with some emotion, and I hope too that it sends in some way a message to younger women. Leadership does come in different shapes and sizes.
A bit of a pathetic level of vanity there. You know, weeping in a park about how good it is that the factions have anointed you as the Premier.
Oh, God.
But I get her point about the gender stuff, and women have been bashing against the glass ceiling for too long. But I reckon if you're choosing a role model for your premiership, you can probably do a little bit better than Joan Kerner, can't you? Wasn't she premier for about 12 weeks?
Oh, yeah,
presiding over the smouldering ruins of the Kane era, which is kind of comparable, really.
Yeah, but this is sort of. There was a party out front of Parliament for Dan Andrews.
Yeah, see, Bo, we're being rude about left-wingers now.
Yeah,
try and keep up.
Well, of course we are. It's all the cover-up. The taxman is coming after sports personalities who make a lot of money over grand final week with cash-in-hand jobs, the cashy. Number of former players boast online about how much money they make in September with doing cashies. The tax office says it's not illegal, but some people abuse the system and it's easy to trace the payments.
Cashies? What? Like speaking engagements?
Yeah, when they say,
like
ex-players go, I'll do 3 breakfasts this week and make, 12 grand.
Yeah, okay.
That kind of stuff.
So what's the tax office saying? You're allowed to do it provided you declare
you can't abuse the system. I don't know what does that mean?
Well, doesn't it mean you're a sole trader? Doesn't it mean you're meant to charge GST and then pay that money back through your BAS?
Yeah.
You've got to be registered for.
You'd have to have a ABN, all that kind of fun stuff.
It's still a bit of a culture in Australia, isn't it? Yeah, but this was the argument for introducing the GST, that it doesn't really matter, that the money's going to keep swishing around the economy because every time you buy something, apart from food, you're paying tax.
A drug bust in Ireland has netted cocaine with an estimated value of $250 million. Commandos armed with assault rifles braved rough weather to intercept the cargo ship off Ireland's southern coast. The vessel has been monitored for days, along with a fishing trawler that earlier ran aground nearby that tipped off authorities. After taking control of the 190-metre vessel, the Rangers found 2.3 tonnes of cocaine and arrested 3 men on board. I wonder what the street value of 2.3 tonnes is. Irish police believe a cartel based in South America is behind the record haul. US Army Private Travis King is on a flight back to the United States after being returned to American custody weeks after he crossed into North Korea. Remember this guy?
Oh, yeah.
Just disappeared across the border?
Yeah, so they found him?
Yeah, he's back in America. He sprinted across the demilitarised zone from South Korea whilst on a civilian tour in July. So he wasn't on duty, he was there on holiday.
Wouldn't go over there to do some shopping.
It was
then to his horror, he discovered they didn't have any shops.
There was a view that this would become a real diplomatic row, but they seem to have come to some sort of agreement quickly, and North Korea have decided to hand him over. But it's still a truly peculiar story.
I spent about half an hour with my son Sam the other night on my iPhone looking at Google Maps satellite images of North Korea. Have you ever done that?
No.
Well, there's no Google Street View.
No.
So you can't do Street View of anything. But there's satellite views, and you just see the shape of cities, and you can get down reasonably close, and you can see that in the middle of Pyongyang, it's so weird, because like you look at any world city, even in like Accra and poor parts of the developing world, and when you home in on the CBD with your thumb and forefinger, you'll see that there's Starbucks, and then there's KFCs, and there's all sorts of shops. There's shops everywhere around in every country on earth. The thing about Pyongyang, you go in close on it, and there's just nothing.
Nothing recognisable.
There's no shops, there's no anything, but then there's a lot of hospitals.
Oh.
So there's hospitals, there's a couple of universities, but there's one place that we found in the middle of Pyongyang that just says water park. And we went, oh, water park. So we tapped on it, and it's got one review on TripAdvisor.
What do they say?
Very good. And there's this picture. There's a picture of this family standing there, just like waving like that. And they can almost be cardboard cutouts, but they're standing outside this water park with this sort of mangy-looking, commie-era weird bear character, like you'd see at a bad putt-putt in, some regional town in the eastern states.
Oh, that's superb.
It's really interesting.
That is fantastic.
Maybe you wanted to go to the water park.
Quite possibly. Might need water parks over this weekend. Top of 25 and sunny today. Sunny each of the next 3 days. Friday, 28, the expected top. Saturday, 31. Sunday, 21, so it drops away. Then Monday, on the public holiday, it's still 31 degrees. Things start to change early next week. 28 on Tuesday, but then a change comes through with 6 mils of rain potentially on Tuesday. If we don't get it Tuesday, we'll get up to 10 mils on Wednesday, where the maximum drops back to a chilly 17 degrees.
Could
Tom Ren's
do
in the
with some
studio.
rain.
Yeah, well, we might get it. We'll certainly get a bit next week. Get 10-year warranty, 10 years cap price servicing on the new Mitsubishi Outlander at Agostino Mitsubishi. Morning to you, Rennie.
Morning, Will. Morning, David. Yeah, boys, we love a good comeback story or a story of sort of persistence, and I think Billy Frampton sort of fits that mould, doesn't he? 24 games, 3 at Port Adelaide, 21 at the Crows. Never really found a spot at either club. He's played 15 games at Collingwood this year, been a bit in and out of the side, though, towards the end of the year. Plays his first final on the weekend, and it's a grand final. I mean, what a great story.
That is a really good yarn.
Yeah,
it's a cracking yarn.
Like sport, like life, is sometimes it's wonderful in the stories it puts up, and it's tragic in other ways. How many great players never got to play in a grand final?
I know.
Like, sometimes you just got to be in the right spot at the right time, and other times you play for 15 years, you've never been in the right place at the right time.
Exactly, and Billy has shown at times that he can take a game by the scruff of the neck. Now, he's never done it, consistently, but here's his opportunity. He's 26. He gets the biggest chance now. He's known early in the week. The coaches came out yesterday and said, yes, he's playing. So, good luck to him.
Anything can happen in grand finals.
Big time.
Like, isn't Peter Caven a good example of that for the Adelaide Football Club?
Shane Ellen.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like, these guys who... they're not remembered for anything spectacular in the rest of their career apart from what they did on grand final day.
That's the Shane Ellen story, isn't it?
Yeah, 5 goals and 97. So, you get those stories time and again. So a big opportunity for him this week. And I see Chris Scott as well has doubled down and he's playing hardball with Asava Radicalea. So maybe not going to be as easy for Port to prize him over as they would have hoped.
No more tedious or tiresome part of the year to be a supporter of a football club than you watch the public negotiations haggling over players' value.
That's
and
why
it's the most tired and scripted lot of melodrama that plays out the same way every time. We know what'll happen.
That's why most people don't listen to SEN. Because it's for train spotters, right? Oh, no, if we give up trade 6, all that endless, I've heard a whisper. It's like political journalism. The easiest thing in the world is to write leadership speculation stories. You don't have to source anything.
No one checks your work.
Make it all up.
Yeah, exactly. Good on you, Rennie.
Thanks, boys. Good stuff.
You, Tom.
Get 10 years warranty and 10 years cap price servicing on the new Mitsubishi Outlander at Agostino Mitsubishi.
5AA's Tech Talk with your host, Adelaide tech guy Richard Pascoe. Thanks to Harvey Norman Computers.
The latest flagship phones from Samsung and Apple are now all available at Harvey Norman. So whether you're after the latest Samsung Flip or Fold phone or the new iPhone 15, Harvey Norman has got you covered. Optus and Harvey Norman have teamed up to give you the best available offer to help go towards your new phone purchase. Eligible customers receive a $1,200 Harvey Norman gift card when connecting to a new Optus $99 SIM-only plan for 24 months. What better way to take advantage of the $1,200 gift card than to put it towards the latest Samsung Flip or Fold or new iPhone 15? Offer ends October 4. It's in-store only, not available with any other offers. Minimum plan cost over 24 months is $2,376. Plan cancellation fees apply. Terms and conditions apply.
Check out this great offer at a Harvey Norman store near you.
When it comes to all things tools for tradies and serious DIYs, it's all in one place at Toolkit Depot.
Tools, equipment, safety gear and workwear open 7 days and online.
That's right, kickstart spring at Toolkit Depot with a huge range of outdoor power equipment in stock, including mowers, trimmers, chainsaws and more, with specialist advice to help you get it done.
Plus, get your lawnmower service for just $59, including oil and spark plug replacement, fuel, air filter cleaning and more. T's and C's apply. Offer ends September 30.
Don't wait. Kickstart your spring at Toolkit Depot. Visit any one of the 5 Toolkit Depot stores across SA or shop online. For more on-store locations and brands they do stock, visit toolkitdepot.com.au. Toolkit Depot, everything you need to get the job done.
Will retirement living suit you? You're invited to FIVEAA's free spring open day to get a sneak peek of the lifestyle you could look forward to. Come along with family and friends, enjoy refreshments and activities, and explore all our communities have to offer. There's even a chance to win $10,000 when you RSVP. With 4 events across Adelaide from the 7th to the 14th of October, take the first step and search FIVEAA Open Day today. RSVP is essential. See website for T's and C's. Licence number T23/1184.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
So Dummy and 25 with the 6:30 news. I'm Kendall Brettig.
Physio Extra is a registered NDIS provider, so let them support you in achieving your goals. physioextra.com.
Economists believe the Reserve Bank will keep interest rates on hold despite a spike in consumer prices. Latest data from the Bureau of Statistics shows inflation rose 5.2% in the year to August, a slight increase on the July result. Petrol, rent and insurance prices went up, but the cost of fruit and veg went down. Independent economist Chris Richardson says rates are likely to remain steady for now.
The consensus is, though, still that Australia is at the top. It's just that consensus view is a little less strong today than it was maybe a few weeks ago.
Jacinta Allen begins her reign today as Victoria's 49th Premier and only the second ever female to lead the state. More from Christina Hearn.
After a tense day of backroom deals, Jacinta Allen finally emerged victorious as the new Victorian Premier. Her main challenger, Ben Carroll, was named as deputy. The member for Bendigo East faces many challenges in the top job, including leading the state out of record debt. But it is a milestone moment, becoming only the second female Victorian Premier behind Joan Kirner. There was a rally on the steps of Parliament late yesterday, around 500 people celebrating the end of the Andrews era.
Tensions have boiled over with Yes campaigners for the Indigenous voice hurling verbal abuse at the No side during an event in Brisbane. Hundreds of angry Yes voters descended on the convention centre where Indigenous No campaigners Jacinta Nampijinpa Price and Warren Mundine were speaking. Fiona Murray was there and says they crowded the exits and began abusing attendees as they tried to leave.
We came out and there was all this big megaphone from this fellow, probably about 30 protesters who were barricaded and yelling out obscenities.
SA Health is investigating a cluster of tuberculosis cases. The 5 cases are in the Murraylands and include a child aged under 5. Work is underway to identify high-risk close contacts. A Victorian country footballer has been seriously injured after premiership celebrations went horribly wrong. More from Christy Sullivan.
The Yarrawonga Football Club, coached by Geelong legend Steve Johnson, was celebrating a premiership win in the Ovens and Murray League against Albury by letting off fireworks. 27-year-old player Jess Cooperman allegedly attempted to light a firework when it exploded. He was flown to the Alfred Hospital with critical facial injuries and is in an induced coma. A quantity of commercial-grade manufactured fireworks was seized by police from the scene. A 45-year-old Yarrawonga man was arrested. He's been charged with reckless conduct and possessing an explosive substance and was bailed to face court on December 4.
And Channel 7 weather presenter Amelia Mulcahy has welcomed another little ray of sunshine. Her son Ted is a younger brother for Grace. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Get 10-year warranty and 10 years capped price servicing on the new Mitsubishi Outlander at Agostino Mitsubishi.
Here's Tom Wren.
Congratulations to Amelia and Matt. That's great news, isn't it? Let's start with some cricket. Australia has ended a 5-match losing streak, beating India by 66 runs in the third and final game of their men's one-day series. The home side falling well short of the Aussie score of 7 for 352. Opener Mitch Marsh smashing 96 off 84 balls, and he says the only low light was not reaching triple figures.
It's never nice to get that close. You always want to get to 100. Unfortunate, but I thought the way that we sort of all batted today was outstanding, and really the way we want to go about it moving forward into the World Cup.
Meantime, the Redbacks will be back in action later today in their one-dayer against Queensland, hoping to secure their first win of the season after a first-up loss against WA. Well, the departing AFL boss is appealing to Lance Franklin to be part of Saturday's grand final motorcade. Franklin hasn't indicated whether he'll take part in the farewell to retiring players at the MCG. Chief Executive Gil McLachlan is hoping Lance will be there.
He's one of the most remarkable players we've seen, and there has been no bigger name in football for the last 20 years, and I think the fans would love to see him and send him off appropriately in as many ways they can.
Meantime, Carlton defender Lockie Plowman has announced his retirement from the AFL after playing 145 games. And in some soccer to finish, it's full-time in League Cup action for the third round this morning. Newcastle knocking out Manchester City with a 1-0 win, while Liverpool beat Leicester 3-1. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Can't remember when you had your brakes checked? It's been too long. Call 1300 Automasters now.
Sunny and 25 today, sunny again tomorrow, 28, up to 31 on Saturday, and then cloudy on Sunday down to 21. At the moment, 7. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Jobs, apprenticeships, traineeships and careers. Maxima can help. Learn more today at maxima.com.au.
24 to 7, off to the US very shortly. We'll check in with SAPOL and the Weather Bureau. Peter and Elizabeth Parks called in though on 8223 0000 first off. Morning to you, Peter.
Good morning. Voting for the referendum. I'm 79 and this will be the first time I'm doing a postal vote in my whole life, mainly because on the 9th of October I go in for a knee replacement.
Oh, fair enough. With that, Peter. Have you had a knee done before, Peter?
No, I haven't.
My mother's just had 2 done, and once you get through the first bit of that recovery, she said it's the best thing she's ever done. So I hope it works out well for you, mate. Yeah,
okay, but I'd just like to know, let you know that this is the first time in my life I've voted other than going to a polling booth.
Yeah, right. How'd you find the process? Was it easy to do?
Well, I sent off to AEC saying, you know, I'm going for an operation, I want a postal vote. And they texted me back saying, my postal vote's in the mail, you'll get it in a couple of days.
Oh, so it sounds pretty easy, mate.
Yeah, it is. It's not too hard, but normally I'm trying to be first in line at the polling booth.
Get your sausage as well on the day.
If I can, yeah.
Hey, now, Peter, I don't know if you saw our interview when we had Henry Young in the studio on his 100th birthday. He was telling us off air he had both his knees done when he was about the same age as you. And, you know, hopefully that's a good sign that you're still going to be kicking when you're 100 years old, mate.
Hey, only the good die young, and I'm going to be around for a long, long time.
Good on you, Peter.
Hey, there's a good text from Andrew in Kersbrook. He's one of our regular listeners, and he's always a thoughtful contributor. He says this to my comments about and Con's comments about the "Don't Know, Vote No" slogan. He says, "Sure, it's simplistic and almost Taylor Swift-like, but it cuts to the premise of this debate. That is, what are the repercussions of enshrining race in our constitution? It's something without precedent. To a lot of people, it makes sense. Sometimes you need to scrape the bottom of the barrel in order to make your point to the masses that unfortunately don't have a grasp on the English language. Love you, boys. Tear it up, Koshy. Thank you, Andrew."
Well, was Andrew, was the
Andrew? Yeah,
to Andrew's point, the
Andrew.
best defence. We've been critical of the simplicity of it, but the best defence I think you can actually make of it is a one about the system, which is that the reason a slogan like that works in Australia is because everyone's compelled to vote, from the most engaged to the least engaged. Now, the alternative is a system like they have in the United States, where not everyone's compelled to vote. And that slogan would never work because the people who are voting are the ones who really care. But the ones who really care give you kind of weird outcomes.
Oh, yeah.
Because they tend to be cheerleading for some ideological champion or another and not really voting on the basis of what's going to cause the least issue for the majority of people, which is kind of the results we get in Australia.
It's the great benefit of compulsory voting is that it straightens up the political system where most people go, all right, who's the least bad candidate?
That's right.
Who's going to do the
most
least
inoffensive,
the least annoying candidate?
And maybe the downside is we get campaigns get run around. Well, look, you probably don't even care about this, so don't vote for it.
Yeah.
And maybe that's only a small price to pay in the big scheme of things.
Graham says, I reckon we should be grateful that we live in a democratic society with the right to have our own opinion on subjects, but we should respect each other's opinion because there isn't always necessarily a correct answer, just a case of majority wins, and that's democracy. And Josh writes, Will, for your benefit, with a picture attached, bit of a pea soup this morning in Mount Pleasant. On you, Josh.
Yeah, his picture actually revealed that he's wrong.
Completely. It's just fog.
Factually inaccurate. That's okay.
Dave from Albany's crunched some numbers here. Today is the 534th day of Gil McLachlan serving his notice at $3 million a year. That's about $4.3 million in earnings from the moment he handed in his resignation. Nice work if you can get it.
It's been a bizarre.
The world's longest handover.
It's just been weird to watch. Every second week there's a new loose end he needs to tie up and has to hang around for another 6 months.
Good one here from Kim. I've got a soft spot for Collingwood this week. Craig McRae was my student teacher at Largs Bay Primary back in the day while he was playing for Glenelg. What about that? Who's had a famous teacher?
Mark Micken was my sports teacher, the inaugural Crows best and fairest.
Really?
Yeah.
Mark Micken.
Mark Micken.
We had at Marion High Graham Bowes, who won the silver medal at I think it was the Tokyo Olympics for triple jump.
Oh, wow.
He was the athletics coach.
Well-known teachers. Great subject.
Yeah.
8223 0000. Text us on the Duttons text line. Knocking out great deals on VW and Subaru demonstrators in the demolition sale. Duttons, they are easy to do business with. Now, I had a look at the Adelaide Metro website a moment ago. It looks like they've been able to rustle up enough bus drivers for Hills services to work today.
That's good.
So if that is inaccurate, Hills people, do let us know. But it looks like you should have that suite of 840-ish number services should be running this morning.
Where'd they find them?
I don't know. It sounds like...
Hanging out the front bar of the Sterling Hotel.
It genuinely sounds like if one...
How hard can it be? I got nothing on tomorrow. Should be home by then.
It feels like if one bloke in the Hills gets sick, they just go, well, there's no buses today.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like.
Yeah, totally.
There's no backup. But if that's wrong, do let us know. 8223 0000 is the way to get in touch with the program. You can watch along on the Foodland Supermarkets Facebook and YouTube live stream as well. We're going to check traffic and come back with police and weather in just a moment. The deadline on the Hospital Research Foundation home lotteries this Friday. Don't miss out. homelottery.com.au.
Thanks, Will, and good morning. Roads looking really good today. Won't have any hassles getting where you were going. The freeway working well from Mount Barker through to Glen Osmond, and the Northern Connector accident breakdown free. Do have a lane closed to look out for this morning at Seaford, Main South Road near Griffiths Drive, getting busy South Road at Theberton, and a camera at Marshall Terrace at Brooklyn Park. The Skoda demo clearance, it's the same high-end style, just with more experience. Add some money off. Visit your local Skoda dealer today. T's and C's apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
It's not just the ute you want, it's the ute you need. The Mitsubishi Triton Ute. Current top-of-the-range Mitsubishi Triton GSR and GLS double-cab utes are in stock now. Every Triton comes with Australia's only 10-year new car warranty and 10 years cap price servicing. It means worry-free motoring now and well into the future. T's and C's apply. Visit your local Mitsubishi Motors dealership today while stocks last. Nothing can frighten a Triton.
It's Ian Healy, and I'm here to talk to you about back pain and Kiza. If you're one of the 80% of Australians who suffer from back pain, it's tempting to do nothing. But this can cause weaknesses down the road. The best place to start with back pain is exercise, and the best place to exercise is Kiza. Kiza's physios and Swiss-designed strength training equipment help you build strength in a supervised environment. I go to Kiza, and you can too, at our new clinic in Norwood. Book your initial assessment at kiza.com.au.
Choosing the right lawn is easy at the Turf Farm. They're continually trialling and testing to see what works best in SA because our dry summers and droughts can be brutal on lawns.
The Turf Farm, they found a real gem. It's called Tiff Tuff. It's a hybrid Bermuda grass developed by the world's leading turf scientists. Tiff Tuff is drought tolerant, winter green and extremely durable.
It's the only lawn to be formally recognised with the Smart Approved Watermark, which is a new benchmark for drought tolerance in turf grass in Australia, and it has an amazing 50% shade tolerance. How good is that?
The Turf Farm team are the experts in beautiful lawns and happy customers. Visit their website, theturffarm.com.au. The Turf Farm, the lawn you'll love.
Reimagine your home, elevate your life at 88 O'Connell Luxury Apartments. There's 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartments now selling from $1.2 million. 88 O'Connell is redefining residential luxury with amenities never seen before in Adelaide. From a New York-inspired sky deck, Mercato fresh produce market, wine bar, integrated wellness studios, sauna, pools and allied healthcare. To learn more, visit our display suite or inquire at 88o'connell.com.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
Breakfast on 5AA, David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
If you're living with a disability, injury or health condition and looking for work, visit maxima.com.au.
15 to 7, talking famous teachers. Did you have one? Must have been there was a few crows knocking around in the 90s. Josh says, boys, we had Sean Tasker at Pulteney as a coach. So that must have been a pretty popular second job to have. Mark in Highbury's called in. Morning to you, Mark.
G'day, how you going?
Good, thanks, Mark.
Good. In 79, we had two teachers, Peter Cloak and Peter Roberts.
Yeah.
And, you know, like it was a bit hard playing student versus teachers in that year, because that was the year Cloak was runner-up in the McGarry Medal to Duckworth. So the teachers were just looking for him and giving it to him, and he was sent out back and bang, went into the forward line pretty quick.
That's excellent, Mark. Thank you. So many good texts coming through as well.
Yeah, one here. This is good. Craig McRae got around. Peter in Brooklyn Park says, I got a soft spot for the Pies too, because Craig McRae used to serve me Cokes at Nollunga Super Bowl, brackets 10 pin. As a teen, he worked as a casual in the cafeteria, and now he leads the biggest club in the land. The South has a new star. I've played bowling, 10-pin bowling at that bowling alley in Nollunga. It's great.
Geez, Craig McRae made an impression on people in this town well before football, didn't he?
He got around.
Absolutely.
Nollunga, Largs. Like this, my substitute teacher was Mark Soderstrom at Enfield High. I think it's important to mention in his prime he looked just like Billy from Melrose Place. I'd never been so... Billy. Was Billy the one who went out with Heather Locklear? No, that was...
I am going to get that text,
doctor.
And I'm going to send it straight to Mark Soderstrom right now.
Soders will love it.
That is going right to Soders as we speak.
It's, at the end of it is, I'd never been so motivated to attend school. Another one here, Mark Choco Williams was my PE teacher at Modbury High School in the late 70s. He was a pretty cool guy. I wonder if Choco was as intense with the students as he was with the players.
Could you imagine? Stepping out of line with Choco? There's no way you would. No way in hell.
Kaz in Brompton had Mick Noonan as her class maths and PE teacher at Unley High. 80% of my second form were taller than him, me included.
Keep them coming in. Great memories. Dutton's text line 0480081395. Let's talk about the weather, because this morning has all the hallmarks of the great day ahead. Jenny Horvat is on duty at the Bureau. Morning to you, Jenny.
Good morning, guys.
Seems like we're going to have some beautiful weather over the next few days.
Yeah, look, it's pretty stable for a couple of days. We've got the high-pressure system pretty much sitting right over the state. A little bit of a cool start this morning. Minimum temperature got down to 6.8 degrees. That was about 20 past 6 this morning. Currently 8.6 at our West Terrace Naidapira observation site. And in the city here, we are aiming for a top temperature of 25 degrees. Elizabeth 26, Glenelg and Nollunga 23, and Mount Barker also 25 degrees. As that high-pressure system slowly drifts to our east into New South Wales tomorrow and the Tasman Sea for the weekend, we'll see those northerly winds returning, so that temperature slowly on the rise. So some dry and sunny conditions coming up. So Friday we're looking at 28 degrees after a minimum of 13. Saturday getting up to around 30, 31 degrees. A little bit of a blip then. We've got a bit of a change that moves through overnight. Not expecting any significant rainfall with that one, but it will drop that temperature back down to 21 degrees on the Sunday there, but a return to the 30s by Monday quite quickly, and then we've got another change moving through sort of Tuesday and showers around on the Wednesday, so that temperature coming right back down and maybe some significant rainfall coming through, which we haven't seen for a little while, but there is a little bit of timing issues with that change, but we'll watch this space, and it is spring, so things are a little bit changeable there, guys.
Great stuff, Jenny. Thank you for that.
All right, let's head to Safe Bowl. Senior Constable Kate Dawson is on the line. Kate, I can't believe this. There's been a motorbike crash at Parkside. Gee,
yeah, we're just talking about it in the office. It's been a bad month for motorcycle crashes. We've had 3 motorcycle fatals and 2 serious injury, life-altering injury crashes. So this one is, the 5th one. It occurred about 12:30am this morning. Emergency services were called to the intersection of Castle Street and Fuller Street in Parkside after a Ducati that had been travelling north lost control, crashing into a fence in a parked car. So the rider of the motorbike is a 36-year-old Glandore man. He received really serious injuries and was conveyed to the Royal Adelaide for treatment. So the road was closed for a couple of hours while police cleared the scene and spoke to some witnesses. But that's now reopened. So we're investigating the circumstances surrounding the crash. I'm just asking anybody who may have seen that motorbike prior to the crash in the Parkside area to contact Crime Stoppers on 100 333 000.
What time of day did you say it was again? Sorry, Kate?
It was 12:30am this morning.
Right.
So, yeah,
okay, so it's late, dark. Do we know whether speed was a factor, or is there nothing?
Well, I think that's something we're definitely going to be looking into. Yeah.
Okay.
So, 50 or 40 kilometre area in there, in the thick of Parkside. So, we'll definitely be looking into that.
Also, Kate, there's been an incident at Woodville Gardens involving a stolen car.
Yeah, this is a pretty interesting and awful one for the victim. So this occurred just this morning about 5 a.m. The driver of a Toyota sedan had parked his car at a business on Hanson Road while he popped into the shop, and thinking of nothing of it, he left his keys in the car because his adult son was sitting in the back seat. But suddenly an unknown man walked up and jumped in the driver's seat and drove off, clearly not realising the son was in the back. So the son yelled at the man, who continued driving, and then attempted to physically stop the stranger. They had a bit of a struggle when the car crashed into a light pole on Liberty Grove. So the suspect jumped out and ran off, and he's described as being Caucasian, aged in his 20s, wearing a black hoodie and a mask, and he ran off towards Ridley Grove. So the poor old victim sustained minor injuries, but he didn't require medical treatment. So we searched the area, but we unfortunately haven't located the suspect yet. So we're just, again, asking anybody who may have seen anybody in the Woodville Gardens area running from the scene of this crash to contact Crime Stoppers on 1-800-333-000.
Good stuff, Kate. Thanks for that. Senior Constable Kate Dawson there from Sapole. 36-year-old Glandor man riding a Ducati bike through the back streets of Parkside on his own. It's hard to imagine what the circumstances are that in any normal turn of events would lead to a crash like that. We're going to be doing more on the state of the road toll, particularly around motorcyclists. Well, and if you are a motorcyclist, what do you attribute this to?
Yeah, what are you seeing out there? Because you would know better than anyone. And motorcyclists, are there more risky behaviours? Is it something about the bikes? Are they more powerful? What's actually happening?
Well, you'd think there's three things. The first is just the sheer design of a bike, as per your parents' rule, means that it doesn't matter how careful you are, if you get hit on a bike, you're way, 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 way more physically vulnerable than you are if you're hit whilst sitting inside a car with the obvious added protection that provides. The other thing would be motorists can be selfish or unaware of drivers, of riders, of motorcycle riders. But part of it would be there's an element of motorcycle riders, and we're certainly not saying that in the context of people who have lost their lives or are fighting for their lives, but there is an element of motorcycle riders who are just half-wits.
Dave in South Brighton rides a bike. Dave, what are you seeing out there?
How you going? Well, I do many kilometres on my bike over the years. I'm just about to turn over 100,000 on my old Harley in the next few weeks. So,
wow.
I've done a fair few Ks. What I see is I try and position myself on the road as if I'm a car, right? So I don't try and sneak in the inside. It often looks worse from a car when you see a bike riding around, because often, hard to describe, but you've got to be really defensive, obviously pick your overtaking spots, and just drive like you are bloody vulnerable, you know. And I've got a couple of bikes, I've ridden scooters in Bali, so I'm 63 years old, I've been riding since I was 16. A lot of accidents, unfortunately, are younger guys with inexperience and older guys that suddenly get back to bike riding after a long absence. And, you know, you can ride behind them in a group and they're great on the straights, but they just can't handle corners and they go too fast around corners and lose it.
Yeah.
So, look, it's a combination of lots of things. It's also the car drivers that don't see a bike, especially on country roads. You know, you can be coming up, I'll see a car coming out of a side road or a paddock or something, and I'm waiting for them to come out in front of me. I assume they're going to. So it's really, you know, accidents can happen to all of us in a car or on a bike, but it's just really taking care, you know, and don't overtake in stupid spots and don't try and be a bloody hero.
Yeah, well said, Dave.
Thanks, Dave.
Dave in South Brighton. Happy to hear from more motorcyclists over the course of the morning if you'd like to call in on 8223 0000. We're getting some great entries on the text line for people nominating famous teachers they had when they were at school or the kids were at school. Some great ones. We'll revisit them in just a moment because we're off to the US first. Tim Lester for 7 News is on the line at the Republican debate at Ronald Reagan Presidential Library. This is the second Republican debate. Tim, good morning to you.
Morning, guys.
So, Tim, my first and probably only question is Donald Trump there?
No, but he's going to be here in spirit.
he's bombing the event in one sense. He's just as he did for the August 23rd first debate, has timed a public appearance for later today. In fact, right as the debate is about to begin, he'll be addressing striking auto workers in Michigan, in a key swing state, and knowing full well that will detract some of the audience from this debate, and also give him a chance to run this line that he's in a sense above the debate and already effectively the Republican candidate. So he's getting on with the main game, the grand final against Joe Biden, rather than worrying about the niceties of a selection of a Republican candidate. That's his pitch. Here, the 7 remaining candidates who qualified for the debate really do have to try to find a punch-through moment, a moment that really gets them some attention and gives them some momentum. And pretty much none of them have so far.
Well, how long do you think, Tim, it'll remain this big field? Are they all going to hang on to the first primary, or is the expectation we'll lose a few of them before then?
Well, great question, because one of the arguments being put by a lot of political watchers here is that the field has to shrink so that they're not fracturing one another's vote. There's no preferences in this race, right? So you can't, if you're running 7 candidates against a dominant candidate like Donald Trump, you're splitting your vote. So there's a widespread expectation that the field has to fall off to allow 2 or 3 or 4 maybe to really show their colours and see whether a true single contender can begin to take on Trump. That hasn't happened. There's another debate expected in November 8th, I think. It'd be interesting to see what the field is by then. But the first primary is in mid-January, the first time people actually vote on who gets the job. Republicans vote. So well before then, that you'd think they've got to thin the field out to give a couple of remaining ones a real shot at taking on Donald Trump.
Just finally, Tim, is Ron DeSantis, the guy from Florida, is he still regarded as the front runner of the 7? Because he, from the little I've seen of him, he doesn't seem to be setting the world on fire.
He's not. He was the clear front runner essentially from the midterm elections last November, when he performed well and a number of Trump candidates didn't. And pretty much from there, it's certainly as this contest has heated up, he's tended to fade, not strengthen. He's still among the 7 who are debating here today. He's still probably the preferred candidate among those 7 by most measures, but only just. And if impetus is what you want, if trend is what you're looking for, he's trending the wrong way, whereas at least a few others, Nikki Haley, perhaps the former South Carolina governor, is at least trending in the right direction. So would probably be seen as a more likely long-term candidate.
And been mentioned too as a possible number 2 to Donald Trump on a joint ticket. Tim Lester there for 7 News in the US Bureau. Thanks very much, Tim.
We're getting a lot of great texts in on famous teachers that our listeners or their kids have had. Everything from Santville royalty to musical legends. We'll reveal some of those right after 5AA News.
Looking for a new lounge? Now's the time to buy, with up to 40% off at Harvey Norman. Yes, race in store and save up to 40% off selected lounges. Up to 40% off fabric lounges. A huge range of sizes and styles to suit every home and budget. Up to 40% off leather lounges. Relax with a new recliner lounge. Now up to 40% off. In store only, while stocks last. Do not miss this opportunity to save. Up to 40% off selected lounges now at Harvey Norman. Limited time while stocks last.
It isn't waste until you waste it. That's the catch cry from an amazing company called Eco Waste Solutions. Eco Waste Solutions is a hard waste recycling facility, not a dump, located at Williston. They'll take everything except hazardous waste and food scraps. They'll take your waste bricks, your mattresses, tyres, soil, timber, steel, concrete and more. Plus, if you pre-sort your load, you receive a 50% discount on disposal fees. Google Eco Waste Solutions Williston for more.
It's easy to get behind the wheel of a new Mawson Lakes Volkswagen right now. In fact, it's ridiculously easy. All you need to do is head to the showroom on Salisbury Highway, check out the range of new and demo Volkswagens on sale now, and then pick your favourite. How easy is that? All stock is ready for immediate delivery, with easy finance options available. And remember our next day servicing. Mawson Lakes Volkswagen, Salisbury Highway, just a short drive from the city.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
Online, on DAB Digital Radio, and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Sunny and 25 with the 7 o'clock news. I'm Kendall Brettig.
FIVEAA Extra is a registered NDIS provider, so let them support you in achieving your goals. PhysioExtra.com.
Police are hunting a man after a bizarre car theft at Woodville Gardens this morning. A man had popped into a store on Hanson Road just before 5 when a thief got into the Toyota sedan and drove off. Senior Constable Kate Dawson says he didn't realise the man's adult son was sitting in the back seat.
So the son yelled at the man, who continued driving, and then attempted to physically stop the stranger. They had a bit of a struggle and the car crashed into a light pole on Liberty Grove. So the suspect ran off, and he's described as being Caucasian, aged in his 20s, wearing a black hoodie and a mask, and he ran off towards Ridley Grove.
Police have searched the area but are yet to locate the offender. The opposition's urging the Albanese government to slash its own spending to reduce cost of living pressures. New data shows inflation has climbed by 5.2% for the year to August. It could put more pressure on the Reserve Bank to lift interest rates. Shadow Treasurer Angus Taylor says government policies aren't helping.
They've been bringing forward industrial relations legislation which only will make the situation worse, and we see them focusing on everything except this issue. Look, this is a tough problem. And if it's not the top priority of the government, they won't deliver the goods, and they certainly aren't delivering the goods.
Victoria's waking up to a new leader for the first time in 9 years. Jacinta Allen's been elected unopposed, with Ben Carroll her deputy. People in her hometown of Bendigo agree she's the right choice.
It's really exciting to have a Bendigo representative in there doing it for us.
She has done a lot for Bendigo in her time, and now, give her a go.
To have a leader of a state that comes from Bendigo is a bit of an honour.
Meantime, more than 1,000 people staged a party outside State Parliament celebrating the departure of Dan Andrews. Almost 1,000 Defence Force personnel will be shifted from southern to northern Australia in the biggest army overhaul in a decade. The move is designed to prepare the nation's military for a possible conflict in the Indo-Pacific. The Albanese government will also announce today the creation of a new army brigade focused on long-range strike and missile defence. It'll be based in Adelaide. An American soldier who fled into North Korea 2 months ago is on his way home. More from Jonathan Kersley.
23-year-old Private Travis King will be returned to Texas after being expelled by North Korea in July after his release from a South Korean detention facility on assault charges. Private King dashed into North Korea during a public tour of the demilitarised zone. The US says it has been working to secure his release, but North Korea would not talk to American officials. Instead, there was a diplomatic move by Sweden and Private King was released, crossing into China, then flown to South Korea before returning to the US. American officials have thanked the governments of Sweden and China. North Korea claims the 23-year-old confessed to illegally intruding.
Japanese scientists have developed a drug to grow new teeth with hopes to begin human clinical trials in less than a year. Dentist Dr. Melissa Downing says it's a breakthrough because current teeth replacement methods are impractical.
If they could regrow teeth, that would be really beneficial. Nowadays we use quite often dental implants, which are titanium screws to replace teeth, but they have their drawbacks and nothing would be as good as a natural tooth.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Get 10-year warranty and 10 years capped price servicing on the new Mitsubishi Outlander at Agostino Mitsubishi.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Kendall. Port Adelaide may have a fight on its hands to get Hasava Radaglia to the club, with coach Chris Scott reiterating his desire to keep him at Geelong. Meantime, where the star lion Jack Payne lines up against Collingwood in Saturday's grand final, hinges on the main training session this morning. Brisbane's head of football, Danny Daly, has told Wide World of Sports if he's right to go, it'll present a selection headache.
Well, Payne got through training on Tuesday and has recovered pretty well from the ankle injury, and we've got our main session first thing in the morning, so he'll need to get through that to have any chance. So if he gets through that, then we've got a...
You got a headache.
Got a headache at selection after training, which is a good thing to have.
The teams for both clubs will be announced tonight. To cricket, Australia has finished its one-day series with a win against India, with the Aussies winning by 66 runs in Rajkot. The Aussies still lost the series 2-1, but have at least broken a 5-game losing streak. Meantime, South Australia will be up against Queensland later today at Allan Border Field in a one-dayer starting early this afternoon. To rugby league, and Newcastle Knights captain Callum Ponga has surged up the leaderboard in the latter rounds to claim the NRL's prestigious Dally M award. It's a double celebration for Newcastle, Tamika Upton taking out the Women's Award. And in some soccer to finish, it's full time in third round League Cup action this morning, with Newcastle upsetting Manchester City 1-0. Liverpool had a 3-1 win against Leicester. Arsenal edged past Brentford 1-0, while Chelsea also had a 1-0 win against Brighton. Everton held off Aston Villa 2-1, while West Ham beat Lincoln City 1-0. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now to the traffic.
Louver House, the leaders in turning your outdoor space into a great entertainment area with an opening and closing roof.
Good morning. Roads are working well. If you're about to jump in the car and head to work, Northern Connect accident and breakdown free. The freeway's looking the goods too. From Mount Barker through to Glen Osmond, smooth run there. Do have a lane out of action at Winvar, the Golden Way, Neil Road Drive. Look out for that. And keep it out for cameras this morning. Out already, Jetty Road, Larks Bay, and Great Terrace at Rosewater. The sound of you enjoying a delicious barista-made coffee from OTR. Pop in and get your pick-me-up now at OTR. Making life easy. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Can't remember when you had your brakes checked? It's been too long. Call 1300 Automasters now.
Sunny and 25 today, sunny again tomorrow, 28, up to 31 on Saturday, and cloudy on Sunday down to 21. At the moment, 9. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
If you're living with a disability, injury or health condition and looking for work, visit maxima.com.au.
7:08. Good morning to you if you're joining us for the very first time. Big hour ahead. Matt Abraham after 7:30 will dissect what's been a massive week in political spin. Then after 8, David Koch on the show. Talk to Koshy about the biggest stories in the AFL, but also one of the biggest stories in economics as well at the moment. The CPI data that came out yesterday has a lot of people now wondering whether we might have another interest rate rise sooner rather than later. Big test for Michelle Bullock at the RBA. We will get Koshy's analysis after 8 o'clock today. Very much looking forward to that. We heard from SAPOL in the last 20 minutes, and they, the road toll is one thing, and I thought the way in which Kate Dawson spoke about the issue of having motorbikes at the moment was pretty evocative. 3 fatals in the last week, but also there's another stat that we don't talk about enough. 3 fatals, but 2 life-altering crashes too.
Yeah, 100%.
It's pretty bad things can happen to you short of dying. And we don't even count those in terms of the road toll. That's just in the last week. There was another crash this morning. So we're asking our motorbike riding listeners, what's going on out there? What's to blame? How can we make this safer? Andrew and Kersbrook's called in. Morning to you, Andrew.
Good morning, boys. How are you?
Good, thanks, Andrew.
The previous caller that you had was absolutely right. There's a lot of riders getting back on bikes they kind of have forgotten. And you need to position yourself like a car. Like you've got to have awareness of everything around you. But we grew up on a farm, so you learn pretty quickly. Like falling off motorbikes hurts.
Yeah.
So it's not a good thing to do. But the kids these days, and I drive past if I have to go down to town. I think it's a Hope Valley there, or St Agnes it might be. There's like a basketball court, and they teach the kids to ride in there. It's absolutely ridiculous. Like you can't teach someone the awareness of the awareness that you need of vehicles on the road in a basketball court. And I'm actually quite surprised that no one's taken the government or the actual licensing board to court over this, because the training's just not good enough.
It's a good point, Andrew. Thank you. We appreciate that. We're going to speak more about this after 8:30, but we want to take more calls, collate some more information before we get to that conversation. But that seems like a pretty important part of the whole equation. On the Duttons text line, lots of people having fun, reminiscing about their school teachers. We've been asking you, did you have a famous teacher at school? A couple of people have texted in with this person as their music teacher.
Wash your face in orange juice. Wash your face in orange juice. Clean your teeth with bubble gum. Clean your teeth.
Stu in Elizabeth Vale had Peter Coombe as his music teacher at Nord Primary in the early 70s. Another person had Peter Coombe as teacher at Newton Primary School in the 70s. It matches up. His first kids album that he released was 1982, and that was with songs for little kids. So up until that point, he'd been teaching. Then he went off to England and hosted a music TV show for a little while.
He was huge for a while in the mid-80s, Peter Coombe. In a similar musical vein, Mark from Trott Park, fellow Marion High graduate, but a few years earlier than me, he had John Schumann, who was a great friend of the show. We caught up with John the other day about...
Having John Schumann as your teacher would be unbelievably awesome.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
He's the funniest guy.
So he was a drama teacher and English teacher at Marion High, and also Neil Craig was there as a PE teacher as well when he was...
Would have kept you fit.
Playing for Norwood, yeah, exactly. And Sturt, before he fell back in with a bad crowd on the parade.
All right, let's get into some of the news that's knocking around this morning, starting with the ongoing saga of Qantas and its leadership yesterday, who faced a parliamentary grilling over a whole heap of scandals. So it's easier just to go through the shopping list of items now, things that came up at the parliamentary inquiry. The tickets that were sold to people that were already cancelled, the illegal sacking of 1,700 staff, the multi-million-dollar payout to Alan Joyce, the claim that they've hoarded slots at Sydney Airport to prevent other airlines from using them, and of course the Qatar Airways saga, whereby they lobbied the government to make sure that Qatar couldn't come in and provide any objections. So it's a long list of things,
quite a bit there to work with.
And as such, we'll play you a little bit of from the Senate hearing, and you'll hear a couple of different themes.
Guess what? When you come to a Senate inquiry, we ask the questions, and you're supposed to come with the answers.
We understand why people are frustrated.
Frankly, I've lost count in how many apologies I've heard.
The feedback I got from our major shareholders was that they want the continuity of leadership of me as chair of the board. We apologise for what happened.
Mr. Goody, you're only apologising for getting caught. You're not apologising for doing the wrong thing.
So just to go in order, but it was Bridget McKenzie who's the chair of the committee. She asked a lot of questions about the plane's regalia and so forth. Vanessa Hudson, the new CEO, apologised again. Tony Sheldon was the MP, former unionist, who said, I'm sick of, I've run out of times you guys have said sorry. And at the end, the embattled Richard Goyder now, who has a whole heap of different parties suggesting he should step down, arguing that no, some major shareholders want continuity.
It's in quite a unique position, Qantas, because everyone in politics has got their own ideological reasons to really hate it. You've got the unions and the hard left hating it because of the outsourcing of jobs and the fact that Joyce played the role of strike breaker with the complete lockout of all the Qantas staff about 10 years ago. Then you've got a lot of people on the right hate Joyce because he's sort of seen, quite accurately, I guess, as this preachy, woke, unelected meddler who, with his painted planes, is trying to sway a yes vote at the referendum. You've got the, probably, this would be more our category, Will, the sort of economic libertarian types wanting full-throttled competition in the airline space, meaning that Qatar should have just been green-lighted as a matter of course. So where do you start? But Goyder's got the hide of a rhino, hasn't he? Saying, I'm the man to steer it through this. You're actually the man who helped steer it into it.
This Senate inquiry...
Straker, you're coming in too fast.
This could be more complicated than the COVID inquiry, I think.
They should start inserting flying highlines into those Senate hearings. Someone should walk in and say to Richard Goyder, I just want to say good luck. We're all counting on you.
When did this all begin? Well, first the dinosaurs came. What
do you make of this? I can make a hat. And Leon's getting larger.
Oh, God. All right, other things going on in the world in South Australia. This was a big development late yesterday. Gregory John McGannon, a veteran CFS volunteer, was found guilty of setting 7 bushfires around the Adelaide Hills on a total fire ban day. You might recall that the court released this extraordinary video footage. We'll play the audio of it here.
Over here. Come over here. Yeah, okay. Oh, Jesus. I thought he had light it, and I thought, you bloody idiot. Tamped it. All right, just stop. Okay, just stop. Yeah. Look at the plate. Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely him. Mate, you're under arrest. No, there's one. Hey? Put your hands on
Because you took off from us and you wouldn't stop.
And you started a fire. I didn't start a fire. You have, mate? No, I didn't fight a fire. Okay. I didn't light it. I watched the guy that light it. Cigarette lighter right up.
So despite protesting his innocence whilst being arrested and indeed pleading not guilty, the jury, after deliberating for 4.5 hours, found he was guilty of 7 accounts of arson and 1 account of driving dangerously to escape a police pursuit. The foreperson's comments were interesting in the Tice's reporting, I thought, and I'll read it. The jury's foreperson said it was not unanimous in its verdicts with regard to the first 6 fires, which the prosecution had sought to prove through circumstantial evidence. However, she said 10 or more jurors were satisfied beyond reasonable doubt McGannon was guilty of those charges and so convicted him by a majority. The foreperson said jurors were unanimous in their verdicts that McGannon was guilty of setting the 7th fire, which was eyewitnessed by 2 SA police officers and attempting to escape by dangerous driving.
What sort of sentence is this bloke going to get? I reckon it's got to be long.
It should be serious.
It should be at least, like, we're talking like a good, at least 5 years, you'd think. But the guy, he's clearly got a screw loose. But, this is the equivalent of, like, going into a supermarket with a gun and just randomly shooting in all directions. He could have killed so many people, this bloke. Setting aside the damage that it could have done to, properties as well and the economy. But the most important thing is here, how many people, how much livestock, how many native animals could this mad bastard have killed? So what do we do? Like, and what an insult to the many, many, many hundreds of excellent men and women who volunteer for the CFS, because it persists this completely baseless sort of rumour, setting aside with outstanding outliers such as this bloke, that must attract a few pyromaniacs. Well, there's people out there risking their lives. Laying their lives on the line in KI and Pinery and back in 83, having to deal with weirdos like this, they need to send a signal, I reckon, particularly with the summer we're about to have. This bloke needs his butt kicked by the courts.
We will be following the sentencing very, very closely.
I don't know. I really do wonder whether it will happen, though. I saw this story yesterday.
Well, he pled not guilty. So he's not entitled to any of the sort of discounts or so forth that sometimes get headline sentences down to something that we all find pretty paltry. So it should be a major sentence.
Yeah, I don't know. There was a case yesterday where a disqualified killer drunk driver who killed a really popular Adelaide Hills bloke called David Hoy, she had her sentence reduced on appeal. But the thing was, it's the second time she's been done for serious drink driving, like really, really serious drink driving. She killed him back in 2021. She pleaded guilty, unlike this bloke, she pleaded guilty to a charge of aggravated causing death by dangerous driving. She'd had 12 beers that day and vomited before she got into her car, and then she drove into a guardrail on Mount Barker Road and hit this poor bloke so hard that he went flying into the air. And 2 months before the crash, this woman had been disqualified from driving for a year because she'd also been caught drink driving. So she was disqualified for drink driving when she was drink driving, but purely because she said, "I'm sorry that this happened." The district court yesterday shaved a year off her sentence, and now her non-parole period has gone from 4 years and 9 months down to 3 years and 10 months.
Why?
Because she was sorry that it happened. I don't think she's sorry that it happened. She's sorry that she got caught. You know, you kill someone and you get 25% taken off your sentence on appeal.
Because you say sorry.
Yeah, yep. I don't think you should get a discount for saying sorry. I think you should get a higher punishment for not saying sorry.
Yeah.
It should be flipped around. Because what person not in their right mind would not say sorry for something like that?
Exactly right.
You shouldn't get rewarded for showing what should be just automatic base level human decency.
That's just yet another.
Andrew from Blackwood reckons I'm giving this bloke unders for his arson attempt. 5 years. How about 25 years? All right. Yeah.
You won't say no to that.
Exactly.
Thank you, Andrew. Let's check traffic and come back with some sport in just a moment. The final deadline of the Hospital Research Foundation home lotteries this Friday. Don't miss out. homelottery.com.au.
Thanks, Will. Starting to see some traffic build on the freeway inbound just after Stirling on the down track. Also got a few delays South Road at Theberton. Getting busy Port Road as you're heading into the city. Lane closed this morning at Winvale, the Golden Way near Rodeo Drive. Got speeds at 40 there at the moment. And look out for the ever pesky camera, Moseley Street, Glenelg South and Target Hill Road at Salisbury Heights. Goodyear Auto Care are your tyre and auto experts you can trust. For great tyre deals and great value car servicing, call Goodyear Auto Care today on 132343. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
5AA Mornings with Matthew Pantelis.
There's perennial debate here in South Australia about shop trading hours. Paul Zara is CEO of Australian Retailers Association. Why are you picking on the SA government? At least they've taken some steps.
Well, we're not singling out just SA on its own, but WA and Queensland are just as problematic.
Weekday mornings from 9.
It does not make sense. I mean, governments are there to regulate. There's better things to regulate than shop trading hours.
On 1395, Adelaide's 5AA.
As an Indigenous kid, I have lots of questions about my future. Like, will I grow up in a country that hears my voice? Will I get to go to a good school? Will I be seen beyond the sports field? Recognised by the decision makers of our country? Will Australia listen to me?
On October 14, we'll decide what kind of country we want to be. Yes makes it possible.
Authorised by Dean Park and Australians for Indigenous Constitutional Recognition Limited, North Sydney.
Are you ready for massive Mazda savings? Mawson Lakes Mazda is having a huge demo clearance across the entire Mazda range. We are overstocked on current model Mazda demos that need to go. So be quick to snap up a demo deal in your favourite model and colour. There is no better time to take advantage of these amazing deals. Be quick, stocks won't last at these prices. Mawson Lakes Mazda, just a short drive from the city, Salisbury Highway.
What about this? The Great Moscow Circus rolls into town for the first time in 9 years with an all-new extreme show. Be wowed by the extreme wheel of death, motorcycle cage riders, high-wire walkers and Australia's top trial BMX riders, the Flare Riders.
How do you reckon the extreme wheel of death got its name?
It's pretty extreme.
Don't answer that question.
It's pretty scary,
The all-new extreme show combines traditional circus clowns, magicians, acrobats, jugglers, with awe-inspiring and death-defying acts in one spectacular production for all ages.
And it's steeped in history too. The Great Moscow Circus first visited Australia in 1965 and it's continued to tour Australia every 3 to 5 years, performing to more than 7 million Aussies.
Catch the legendary Great Moscow Circus in Adelaide from tomorrow at Bonython Park and from October 19 at Ridley Reserve, Main North Road, Elizabeth. Tickets at thegreatmoscowcircus.com.au.
Hi, it's Jacinta Numbajimba Price. We all want to help Indigenous Australians in disadvantaged communities. But this voice is not the answer. We don't know how it would work. And once it opens the door to activists, we don't know what comes next. What we do know is, once it's in the Constitution, it risks legal challenges and will permanently divide us. This voice is risky, divisive and permanent. So if you don't know, vote no.
Authorised by AMA Liberal Adelaide.
Rosanna Mangiarelli here from 7 News. Join me and Will Goodings for Adelaide's leading news hour, 7 News, tonight at 6 o'clock.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Jobs, apprenticeships, traineeships and careers. Maxima can help. Learn more today at maxima.com.au.
25 to 7, talking about the case of Gregory John McGannon. Just got a text from Deanna Williams, who's been covering the story for 7. Was at the court yesterday when he's found guilty, and she made the point to us here on the program that the maximum penalty is life for the things he is charged with. That's what Parliament said is the maximum. Now, as Sean Fewster's told us over the years, The maximum is always reserved for some imaginary scenario that never eventuates.
Wouldn't that be arson causing death, though?
I would imagine so.
You'd think.
Yeah, the worst possible outcome of this. But that is the mandated maximum of this, is is life. So it theoretically, that forms part of the basis around which you work out what the penalty is going to be. It has to be significant.
Why isn't it comparable to whatever sentence you get for attempted murder? Because the criminal intent part of it is you're trying. So if you're trying to light the fire, shouldn't the presumption be you're doing it in the knowledge that it could kill?
Absolutely.
Does that make it a manslaughter type thing?
Well, however it works, it needs to work that if you do it deliberately and you're caught, you go to jail for a long time.
I suppose a defence lawyer would say there's a big difference between a knowledge that something could kill versus a hope that it does.
I reckon most people listening would struggle with that distinction.
Yeah, for sure.
Marg in Millswood has called in. Marg, we've been talking a bit about Qantas. They've appeared at an inquiry yesterday. Sounds like you need to turn up at the inquiry and ask some questions of them.
Look, I'm not very happy at all. We've just had 5 weeks overseas and arrived to Sydney Airport, and in between being transported on the bus between the international terminal and the domestic terminal, you know how you catch that little bus, the baggage cart was in front of us, and I pointed out to my husband, I said, you'd be really annoyed if that was your suitcase, wouldn't it? Because obviously the guy had gone around the bend too fast, and a whole lot of suitcases had come off, and he was piling them all back on. Now, I didn't see my suitcase, but when I got home to Adelaide, my suitcase was in a heavy-duty plastic bag with Qantas branding on it, demolished, and now there's quite a few items missing.
You're joking?
No, not joking. That's how it arrived, in a big plastic bag, all tied up, and I've made 4 phone calls because I'd really like to get my items back. I don't want the cash. I actually want my items back. And I know that it's going to be a, slow process. So I rang Sydney Airport about 4 times since I've been home, and I just can't get anyone that's the least bit interested.
You're joking. Actually, no,
Wow.
let me take back my surprise. They are a disgrace. Marg, what's the value, you think, when you consider the suitcase and the items missed, or lost, or whatever the hell happened to them? What do you think it's worth?
Well, probably 3,000 plus.
My goodness.
My whole makeup bag's missing with all my skincare and makeup and stuff, so that's quite a few hundred. My Coach handbag's missing. In my makeup bag was my smartwatch because I couldn't get it to work overseas. It was paired to the wrong phone. There's quite a few things. Missing a dress that I really liked, a top that I bought overseas.
And so no one says anything to you? You just get your destroyed suitcase in a plastic bag. Thanks for flying Qantas.
And the thing was, we were delayed, and Qantas made a bit of a mess of that in Sydney, and we sat in Sydney Airport for 12 hours. We've got a Qantas e-tag on my bag, so they could have easily got in touch with us and said, look, there's these items that are, out of the bag. We don't know if they're yours. Can you tell us? They could have done so many things. They just don't care.
Yeah,
that's appalling, Marg.
That's awful.
What a pain.
Marg, keep us across how you go in contact with them and dealing with them. Call us again. We want to follow this because we can't let these people get off the hook. This is the problem with this kind of thing. No one hears about it.
Hey, Marg, if you're still listening, talk to Lucy, and Lucy will give you my personal email because it's the kind of thing that could actually make a good newspaper column as well. Like, because other people have to go through this process. And you know what the worst of it is? What Marg said about the phone calls, it's the death of the human being in customer service. These days, you don't know where to start. Everything's online. I even had an issue with my damn washing machine last year. An LG washing machine. It was brand new. I had to go to this customer interface thing, talking to a chatbot, and then they said, take a video of what your washing machine's doing or not doing and send it to LG. I got a reply 2 months later.
God.
And you know what happened in the interim? Mr. Dishwasher, excellent people,
Well,
heard me crapping on air about it. They said, we'll come around and fix it up for you.
That is truly infuriating. Thank you for calling in, Marg. We appreciate it. Last night on the Sports Show, Rowie and Timmy G had a great chat with Lee Matthews about handing over the premiership cup in the event that Brisbane win it to the side that he coached. One of the great sides ever, perhaps maybe arguably the greatest side ever. Tonight on the Sports Show, teams ahead of the grand final. Make sure you tune in $17 Shinity Monday to Wednesday at the Birkenhead Tavern, Excelsior and Lighthouse Wharf. You just know it's a Barrow Hotel. The best build-up to the big game happens here on 5AA with the Sports Show. Rowie and Timmy G this evening.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Sunny and 25 with the 7:30 news. I'm Kendall Brettig.
Physio Extra for Locomat robotic technology treating stroke, cerebral palsy, brain and spinal cord injuries. Visit physioextra.com.
A stolen car has crashed into a light pole at Woodville Gardens this morning as the owner's son wrestled with the thief. The man had left the keys in the car when he popped into a store on Hanson Road around 5 a.m. An unknown man jumped in and drove off, not realising his son was still sitting in the back seat. Senior Constable Kate Dawson says he tried to stop the offender, causing the car to hit the light pole on Liberty Grove.
The poor old victim sustained minor injuries, but he didn't require medical treatment. So we searched the area, but we unfortunately haven't located the suspect yet. So we're just, again, asking anybody who may have seen anybody in the Woodville Gardens area running from the scene of this crash to contact Crime Stoppers.
The rising cost of petrol has contributed to a spike in inflation. New data from the Bureau of Statistics shows overall consumer prices rose 5.2% for the year to August. Rents and insurance costs have climbed, but fruit and veg prices went down. Independent economist Chris Richardson says he's not expecting interest rates to rise on the back of these numbers.
It's a worry. Hopefully it's not a big worry. The Reserve Bank would usually look through something like that, but it's been a long and pretty bloody fight against inflation, so they will be keeping a close eye on it.
Almost 1,000 Defence Force troops and their families are set to leave SA under a major restructure. They'll move north from Edinburgh to Brisbane, Townsville and Darwin, where a missile base is established here in 2025. Details will be announced today by Defence Minister Richard Marles. Jacinta Allen will get to work today as the new Premier of Victoria, but Dan Andrews isn't walking away a poor man. Dennis O'Kane reports.
The former Premier won't be short of a quid, that is for sure, thanks to the generosity of Victoria's taxpayers. He will pocket $300,000 every year for the rest of his life under the state's old political superannuation scheme. Because Daniel Andrews was first elected in 2002, he qualifies for the lifelong annual payments as a former leader. Despite the huge golden handshake, Mr Andrews will still be able to pick up any odd jobs he chooses.
Hollywood writers are back at work today after a 5-month strike over a pay claim. The board of their unions voted to accept what they describe as a meaningful deal on pay and protections. Late-night talk shows are expected to be the first programs to resume production. However, a parallel strike by actors shows no signs of resolution. A drug bust in Ireland has netted cocaine with an estimated street value of $250 million. More from Brett McLeod.
Commandos armed with assault rifles braved rough weather to intercept the cargo ship off Ireland's southern coast. The vessel had been monitored for days, along with a fishing trawler that earlier ran aground nearby, tipping off authorities. When the crew of the MV Matthew ignored commands, warning shots were fired. After taking control of the 190-metre vessel, the Rangers found the cocaine, all 2.3 tonnes of it. 3 men on board have been arrested. Irish police believe a cartel based in South America is behind the record haul.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Get 10-year warranty and 10 years capped price servicing on the new Mitsubishi Outlander at Agostino Mitsubishi.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Kendall. It is selection night for both Collingwood and Brisbane ahead of Saturday's grand final. There's still debate on whether Lions defender Jack Payne will play, while the Pies have already confirmed Billy Frampton is in. Meantime, AFL great Matthew Lloyd finds it hard to remember an AFL captain making a more stupid mistake than Callum Mills, who seriously injured himself during Mad Monday celebrations. The Sydney skipper has undergone shoulder surgery and is expected to miss the start of next season. Lloyd has told Footy Classified he's shocked a player like Mills would put himself in that position.
This is as bad an injury as I can remember in something as foolish as this, where you're messing around, you're having a
wrestle on Mad Monday. So you can cop football injuries that'll put you out for that long, but it's hard to remember something so serious from something so stupid from a captain of a footy club.
Returning Aussie all-rounder Glenn Maxwell has played a starring role with the ball to help Australia to a 66-run win against India in their one-dayer in Rajkot overnight. The Aussie smashed 7 for 352 from their 50 overs. Mitch Marsh, Dave Warner, Steve Smith and Marnus Labuschagne all belting half-centuries. And while Maxwell missed out with the bat, he took career best figures of 4 for 40 from his 10 overs to help dismiss the home side for 286. And he says it felt great to be back in the team.
I feel like I'm in a decent place. I feel fresh. I probably don't have as many travel wounds as a few other people. I feel like I've come into this World Cup nice and fresh. I'm excited to hit the ground running and nice to get a nice result tonight.
Had his own unfortunate injury previously. That audio there, thanks to Fox. And that is the 5AA Sport.
Now to the traffic.
Louver House, the leaders in turning your outdoor space into a great entertainment area with an opening and closing roof.
Good morning. You shouldn't have too many hassles getting to work today. All the majors flowing well. We're accident and breakdown free, which is nice this morning. Do have a lane closed at Old Nollunga to look out for. Main South Road near Victor Harbour Road. Speeds at 40. It is slow south road at Theberton. Quite busy. Marion Road at Anzac Highway. And look out for an early morning Camera Jetty Road at Larks Bay. Win over $1.3 billion in today's USA Power Lotto. Get more zeros in your life with Australia's own lotteryoffice.com.au. Hurry, draw closes in less than 2 hours. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Can't remember when you had your brakes checked? It's been too long. Call 1300 Automasters now.
Sunny and 25 today, sunny again tomorrow, 28, up to 31 on Saturday, and then cloudy on Sunday down to 21. At the moment, 12. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Do you suffer from indigestion after eating? Do you get an uncomfortable bloated feeling in your belly? Or even worse, terrible wind? Caruso's Bloaties contains peppermint and ginger, which are traditionally used in Western herbal medicine to relieve bloating, indigestion and wind. It also contains digestive enzymes to help your body digest lactose and fat. Caruso's Bloaties is made in Australia, comes with a money-back guarantee and is available from leading pharmacies and health stores. Always read the label and follow the directions for use.
Where's the toilet?
See that little spade?
No effing way.
Nah, just kidding. Ensuite's inside, opposite the kitchen.
Oh! Phew. See you in a minute.
Austrac Canvas. Take a moment, if you will, and recall everything you did in your car in the last 5 days. Went to the shops, visited friends, maybe running the kids or grandkids around, went out for lunch, maybe out to dinner, drove to and from work. There's a lot that you can pack into 5 days. Now imagine doing all that in your brand new feature-packed Chery Motor 5, because it's Chery Glen Osmond's 5-day test drive. That's right, it's a 5-day test drive. Forget about taking your prospective new car for a run around the block. Take it for a run around your lifestyle. The Chery Motor 5 from Chery Glen Osmond is the sort of features you'd expect to find on a car 3 times its price. It looks sensational and it comes for under $33,000. That's right, under $33K. Experience the hype firsthand. Book a test drive today at gochery.com.au. Some T's and C's apply.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Jobs, apprenticeships, traineeships and careers. Maxima can help. Learn more today at maxima.com.au.
22 to 8. David Koch still to come this morning. John Blake before 8 o'clock, but right now it's time to talk spin.
9 to 10, out of 10, every time.
Your local Mitre 10 friendly service expert advice. Quality brands at great prices. That's mighty helpful. Mitre 10. Matt, good morning to you.
Good morning, Will. Good morning, David.
How's it looking boat-wise over the long weekend?
Very good.
Nice and calm, nice and still?
If I understand from Pirate Pete, who monitors these things, that the ramp at Outer Harbour is already almost chockers. Very busy this morning. So if you've got a tradie with a tow bar and you get a phone call this morning saying, oh, I just got a flat tyre, I won't be there today, or my mother-in-law's died or something like that. They're fishing. That's where they are.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they'll be out fishing.
You're concerned at all that in the future that you out in the boat in the Gulf might become the victim of a live fire drill or something, now that we're going to be the staging point of Australia's new missile capacity here in South Australia?
Yes, I'm terrified. I don't think they're going to be used. We hope not, because this, and it's been described by the brilliant Greg Sheridan in The Australian today as yet another army nothing burger.
Nothing burger, that's a good term. I've never heard that one.
Where we're relocating the armoured units to the top end from Adelaide, and we're locating the long-range missiles in Adelaide sometime, maybe, where they'll be 3,000 kilometres away from where they'll be needed, because I've got a funny feeling if there's an invasion of Australia, it'll come from the north. So we're going to base our missiles in Adelaide and all our missile expertise, allegedly.
Has there been a change in geopolitical thinking where we now... our biggest potential threat comes from Antarctica?
Well, this is it.
Going to get invaded by penguins.
Isn't the idea that this is half as bad as any potentially optimum solution? Because if it's Indian Ocean or Pacific Ocean, and you stage it on one side or the other, you can only be out by half as much if you stage them in Adelaide.
Yes, that's right. I think that was the... I mean, they've still got those big guns down at Fort Largs.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Well, how powerful is their deterrent effect?
Oh, they were pointing. They kept the Russians away.
Has anyone ever tried it on?
They haven't.
We've never been invaded.
That's it. They work.
That's deterrence
Of course,
101.
Housing estate now, trashing the sand dunes there. But so the 7th Battalion, Royal Australian Regiment, which is based in Adelaide, is going to be folded into 5RA in Brisbane. 57RA, the 1st Armoured Regiment in Adelaide, is going to become an innovation and experimentation unit. Now, this is going to mean, I flagged this a couple of weeks ago, and I have to say it's been a slow burn from the state government on this, and Premier Peter Malinauskas. This is 800 jobs moving out of the northern suburbs, out of the Edinburgh area, 800 well-paid, secure jobs with their families, partners, kids who are in the local schools, spending at local supermarkets. 800 at least secure paychecks are going out of Adelaide. It's the worst hit to employment in Adelaide since the closure of General Motors Holden in the northern suburbs.
That's a very good point.
GMH was around 800 jobs. Mitsubishi was around 900 when it closed. And we're losing 800 jobs. And this is what the Premier's saying about this. He's all over the place. I'm reading the excellent piece by Paul Starrick in the Tiser this morning, where he said SA had argued for naval shipbuilding in the national interest, so Army repositioning in the national interest was difficult to argue against. So look, he's effectively supporting it by saying that, saying we have to cop this. He's highlighted the return of Army personnel from 2025 onwards. Well, they're talking about 2028 onwards, if it happens here in South Australia. And labelled it as striking, the federal government would have to honour this commitment when facing voters in an election. And this one must be really getting the Defence Minister, Richard Marles, quaking in his boots. It's our state government's firm hope and expectation that we hear a positive affirmation of the frigate program so we can get on with the job of employing South Australians on that important piece of work. The frigate program's at risk in South Australia. The AUKUS jobs is a big question mark hanging over the submarine program, and we're about to lose 800 full-time paychecks out in the northern suburbs. And I reckon it probably, you would expect the Premier to be having more than hope and affirmation about that. Can you imagine Dan Andrews on this? He'd be going absolute bunter about it. So, and I know Peter Malinauskas doesn't work like that. I know he doesn't work like that.
Who's the local member there? Is it?
Oh, now you call me.
Is it?
Oh dear.
Is it Nick Champion?
We talking in
yeah,
state would be part of it.
Yeah. Yep, Nick Champion.
The point of it, something affirming about the frigate program. I mean, there's a surface review a surface fleet review going on at the moment.
Yeah. Which
is going to basically be a long way of going around totally changing that program. There's no way the Defence Minister is going to come out and say, no, I wouldn't worry about that. That's good. The review into our surface capability and whether our current projects are going to serve our needs going forward in the future is nothing to worry about. Yeah. I mean, it's everything to worry about. No one's going to say anything nice about it.
These are, I think, you're right. I think there's a great resistance in the Navy and in Defence to anything being built in Adelaide anyway. And it's amazing we've got away with it for so long. And you do have to fight hard for these things.
So your point, Matt, is that on this, Mallee has been a pushover.
That's how it looks to me, yeah. Not that you're putting words in my mouth, but
that's what we do.
I think he's been a pushover, and I don't think you can bleat lamely about our hope and affirmation about losing 800 jobs out of the northern suburbs.
It's a great
which is Labor territory.
It's a great point.
Yeah.
It's funny to think, like, how does this look if we've got a Labor government here and it's something that Tony Abbott, as Prime Minister, did?
Or Scott Morrison. Can you imagine Scott Morrison pulling 800 jobs out of here? And the Premier's also got his eyes on turning Keswick Army Barracks, which is, first of all, it's a naval base in South Australia. It's where the Navy command is, at Keswick Army Barracks. I can never work that out, but anyway, because you want them as far from the sea as you can get them. And it's a traditional base. He wants that for housing. And I'm wondering if this is part of that deal. I reckon it'd be a bad move as well, but there you go.
That land swap was part of the sort of preparations for Osborne, wasn't it? The expansion of the shipyards for AUKUS and potentially nuclear submarines.
And there was
the
big building with the French Naval group, as they called themselves. We all called them Naval group, just there at the top of Richmond Road. Well, that's I would say pretty empty now of top brass or any sort of brass.
I noticed about a year ago they finally got around to taking the sign off it because Naval Group had shut up shop, but it still had the branding on it. But now I think it's slowly filling up. Not sure who's in there.
It's a massive building.
By the way, thanks to Michael Pratt, a regular listener and contributor I know via often challenging text messages to both David and myself, and maybe you too, Will. If not, I'll get him on your...
frequent letter writer to the Tiser.
He's a former federal MP for Adelaide, and his daughter Penny Pratt is a new MP. He's saying it solves the housing crisis, getting rid of 800 families out of it.
There's one way to do it. Pretty dramatic way.
Stroke of genius.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah,
thank you, Brady.
Start kicking people out of Adelaide.
All right, let's rate some spin.
Out of 10, every time.
Just okay. Yes, let's rate some spin. Don't go away. I've got to get names here. So we do have the stand by, everybody. We have a new Premier in Victoria, and Jacinta Allen. And she was elected after about a 4-hour caucus meeting because a guy called Ben Carroll wanted the job of Premier, but ended up with the job of Deputy Premier. He had to step aside. He was told, look, mate.
It's slightly ominous for her, isn't it?
Well,
the guy who wanted the job as her number 2.
This is him in his first press conference as her deputy.
To be her Deputy Premier is a real honour. I couldn't think of a better job in the world than to support Jacinta.
Other than being leader.
Really, Ben?
Not a better job in the world.
Nothing better than being second runner-up, is there, Ben? Yep, I'm giving her my I'm standing right behind her.
That's what should worry you.
Oh, he's getting a 9 out of 10. A solid effort. Great spin.
Great work, Matt. Great
Excellent
of you.
work, mate.
Thanks to Mitre 10, your friendly service expert advice, quality brands at great prices. That is mighty helpful, Mitre 10. We'll check traffic now. The final deadline in the Hospital Research Foundation's home lotteries this Friday. Don't miss out. homelottery.com.au.
Thanks, Will. That Bridgewater smash on the freeway down track near Old Kirrigalli Road. Delays there at the moment. Lane out of action Old Nollunga, Victor Harbour Road near Robinson Road. Speeds reduced. Getting busy the Southern Expressway as you're coming into Tonsley there. And look out for cameras. Jetty Road, Largs Bay and McEwen Avenue at Redwood Park. Right now at 40 Winks, get any size mattress for the price of a single, plus earn double Qantas points on purchases. Limited time only. Exclusions and T's and C's apply. Go to better sleep at 40 Winks. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
The absolute final deadline in the Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery is midnight tomorrow. Don't let the $5 million dream home in Hyde Park slip away, or the chance to take $4.5 million in cash. You could soon be mortgage-free and putting all your dreams into reality. Get your tickets by midnight tomorrow. See full details at homelottery.com.au. That's homelottery.com.au. Licence M14411.
Over 60,000 Adelaide homes have said yes to saving money on their energy bills with Yes, Your Energy Saving Solutions. What's keeping you? Your Energy Saving Solutions can connect you with the SA government initiative called REPS. To save money on heating this winter, Yes is offering eligible households a 2.6 kilowatt Rinnai system for only $699. For T's and C's on this unbeatable offer from Your Energy Saving Solutions, go to yes.net.au. That's yes.net.au.
Now, you all know that I love my local Mitre 10, or as we in the know like to call it, the other hardware store. It's my one-stop shop for all my DIY jobs, be it something indoors that needs to be fixed or out in the garden. They'll have everything you need. And look, the staff alone are one of the main reasons to go there. They're great. They always give you the advice on the best products to help you get all those jobs done.
So if you're planning some home improvements, or you've got some fix-it jobs to do, or just want to spruce things up a bit around the home or in the garden, head into your local Mighty Helpful Mitre 10.
For great prices on the right products for the job, along with helpful advice, choose the other hardware store. Mighty Helpful Mitre 10.
How do you know if the milk you're buying is local? Easy. Just look for 3 words. Fluorio Milk Company. If the bottle you pick up has those 3 words on it, Fluorio Milk Company, it's guaranteed to be local. It's guaranteed to be fresh too. And the big plus, you're supporting SA dairy farmers, and for that, we're forever grateful. 3 words. Fluorio Milk Company. South Australian and proud of it.
It's easy to get behind the wheel of a new Mawson Lakes Volkswagen right now. In fact, it's ridiculously easy. All you need to do is head to the showroom on Salisbury Highway, check out the range of new and demo Volkswagens on sale now, and then pick your favourite. How easy is that? All stock is ready for immediate delivery, with easy finance options available. And remember our next day servicing. Mawson Lakes Volkswagen, Salisbury Highway, just a short drive from the city.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
Breakfast on 5AA, David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
If you're living with a disability, injury or health condition and looking for work, visit maxima.com.au.
8 to 8, John Blake coming up very shortly, breaking at 8 after 8 o'clock, and David Koch will join us on the show, talking too about the spate of motorcycle incidents we've had on our roads here in Adelaide. Deaths, 2 serious life-changing accidents. We had another crash this morning. We're canvassing the intel of our listeners who ride motorcycles to tell us what's going on out there and how it could all be made safer. The Motorcycle Riders Association will join us at 8:35 this morning.
Now, we want you to sound off for the smart dialer too, folks. I'll tell you what, I'm not eligible to enter because I get to sound off quite a bit, I guess.
The whole show is you sounding off.
That's not entirely fair, is it?
Okay, only 90%.
I tell you what, though, if I was entering today, you know what I'd go off about? I'm in council. The last 2 bin pickups, I don't know what they're doing, if they've changed their bin technology, but the blue bin, right? I got the blue bin yesterday off the street. I picked it up. I was going, it's not empty. And I looked inside it. It's only the very little top bit has been emptied. The other 2/3 of the bin is all still in there. So the bin's, effectively useless for the next week. But the same thing happened 2 weeks ago. I reckon that either they've got a new shaker thing on top of the truck,
or they're not getting enough angle.
Well, they're not, or the guy's just not shaking it. Like, shake it like a Polaroid picture.
Come on, that would be a great sound off. You'd win yourself a Carolette
smart
dialer.
How hard is it? Just shake the blue bin.
Shake the bin.
Shake the bin.
8223000 is the number. Get calling now. Chat with Sam and Lucy out there and register your interest in sounding off on a subject of your choosing. Could be absolutely anything from the serious to the silly. You just need to be able to maintain an argument for about 30-odd seconds uninterrupted. So whatever the hell you like. We don't care. You get a smart dial in the process. 8223000 is the number. Let's hand it over to Wallace Fogg, thanks to Aussie Fast Transport Solutions, Interstate Freight Distribution, Warehousing and Local Adelaide Couriers. Call Aussie Fast 13 13 64.
Now, the latest news with Wallace Fogg.
Good morning, early risers. This is Wallace Fogg with another 5AA news update. The Twitterverse has gone into meltdown over the weekend, or should I say the X-verse, formerly known as Twitterverse. It's gone into meltdown over what possessed well-known broadcaster and journalist David Penberthy to do a promotional photo shoot with Andrew Cozzy Costello. Doesn't he know that bloke's the one who saved that awful giant Santa statue? Doesn't he know he's the annoying bloke on the OTR billboards? Doesn't he know that he's the bloke who does on-air bits for Ali Clark? And now he's hamming it up with him for the newspaper simply because they happen to barrack for opposing football teams. Well, why don't you go and do a promotional photo shoot with the entire mixed breakfast team if it's just a bit of fun? In other news, at the risk of making everybody listening go, ugh, the Adelaide City Council resolved to include a multi-faith prayer at the beginning of council meetings. The prayer will now read, "Dear Lord, we pray for understanding in the decisions we're about to make," which most people agree means absolutely nothing. Councillor David Elliott said, "We've now spent months going over this, and this is why people think our council is an absolute shambles and we're all a bunch of crackpots." Well, Councillor Elliott, you are right there, but that's only one of the hundreds of reasons we think you're a bunch of crackpots. He went on to say, "We've spent God knows how many ratepayer dollars on a line about who we acknowledge." Ironically, God does know how many ratepayer dollars you've spent, and I have it on good authority that he's a bee's whisker away from sending a bolt of lightning down to vaporise the lot of you. Amen. In other news,
Almighty God, we ask for your blessing.
Oh, Councillor Davis, can you shut up? We're not interested.
When this matter was tabled...
Yeah, tell someone who cares. In other news, infectious disease experts have warned that a virus that very few people have heard of has hit multiple states in Australia. The human metapneumovirus has seen cases surge in Queensland and New South Wales at an alarming rate. And like all good journalists, I'm leaving this bit till last. It's one of the common cold viruses and hits every year, and most of us have already had it and will probably get it again, and there's really nothing to worry about. Ah, journalism, you gotta love it. And that's the news for this Thursday. I'm Wallace Fogg.
Almighty God, we ask for your blessing.
Ah, shut up. More 5AA news coming up at 8 o'clock, or as close as we can get.
Well, John Blake coming up after 8:30 when we go behind closed doors. Lena's called into the program. Morning to you, Lena.
Good morning, David and Will. David, if you ring the council, they'll come back and empty it.
Oh, really?
Yep, that happened. Yes, that happened to me a few weeks ago.
Where it got jammed. And they came back. Well, that's good to know.
Yes, No, they came back and they emptied it, yes.
Yeah, right,
good.
okay.
If everyone did that, I reckon they'd fix up the shaker technology pretty quickly.
Absolutely.
Good call, Lena, thank you.
We're wanting on the Duttons text line saying, David, I'm with your sound off. The same's been happening with my bin. There you go.
Could be.
Hey,
Could
Wallace
be
Fogg
widespread.
spoke many truths in. Have you ever seen a more humiliating story than that council prayer thing? My God.
It's the perfect council story.
Do they read the comments on those stories? Like, I read all the comments on the Tigers story yesterday, and people going, it's not the council that should be praying for divine intervention. It's the ratepayers. Is this really how you want to spend your time? You know, we've clocked up 12 months without interviewing the Lord Mayor. It's more than 12 months now.
Have we missed any sort of...
I'm not having a crack at her. She's a perfectly nice person.
Have we missed any sizzling insights into council business?
I don't think we have.
No, and I say that because what would have we talked about? The prayer argument for the seventh straight time?
Yeah. Yeah, or their silliness about the Aboriginal kids' football carnival.
Councils are like performing billboards for their own obsolescence, yet nobody wants to read them.
That is a great line.
The Duttons text line.
The column and pretend I wrote it.
Knocking out great deals on the VW and Subaru demonstrators and the demolition sale. Duttons, easy to do business with. Thank you for your texts. We need someone to sound off. 8223 0000.
Fire up.
You win yourself a Care Alert Smart Dialer. All it takes is 30 seconds of your time and an issue you are passionate about. That's the ingredients. Breaking at 8 next.
Choosing appliances is a big call, so at Adelaide Appliance Gallery we do all the little things to make your big decision easier. Whether it's calling the manufacturer to answer tricky questions or arranging a demo so you know it's the one, we've got you. Plus, we always search far and wide to bring you the best offers in one place, like 10% off Asco appliances plus a 10-year warranty. So make your life easier with Adelaide Appliance Gallery, Paynham Road, St Peters.
The St John Christmas Home Lottery is giving away its first of 3 houses.
The $1.1 million weekly draws kick off with a $550,000 Encounter Bay holiday home package. Don't forget our Cash Timber weekday draws for $20,000 in September. Plus, all tickets go into the $5.2 million grand prize draw, including a West Lakes waterfront home, or choose $4.5 million in cash. Buy your tickets now at stjohnlottery.com.au. Licence number M14453.
The Man from Snowy River in concert is coming to Adelaide. Join Sigrid Thornton, Tom Burlinson and the 54-piece Southern Cross Symphony live, playing the award-winning score with this timeless Australian classic on the big screen. 2 shows only at Festival Theatre March 2024. The Man from Snowy River in concert. Book now at Ticketek.
I think I've got a bit of a bug. Hopefully be right by next year.
This summer, don't fight the camping bug. Make the most of it with an Austrac camper.
Austrac!
Austrac.
Austrac campers!
Online, on DAB Digital Radio and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Sunny and 25 with the 8 o'clock news. I'm Kendall Brettig.
Physio Extra is a registered NDIS provider, so let them support you in achieving your goals. physioextra.com.
A motorcyclist is in hospital with serious injuries after a crash at Parkside this morning. Senior Constable Kate Dawson says he lost control, crashing into a fence and a parked car on Castle Street.
So the rider of the motorbike is a 36-year-old Glandore man. He received really serious injuries and was conveyed to the Royal Adelaide for treatment. So the road was closed for a couple of hours while police cleared the scene and spoke to some witnesses. But that's now reopened. So we're investigating the circumstances surrounding the crash.
It comes after 2 men in their 20s died on Tuesday after separate motorbike accidents. And a drink driver crashed his ute at Evanston Park last night. He collided with a traffic light and a tree at the intersection of Trinity Drive and Main North Road before driving to a nearby address. The 43-year-old Evanston man blew .162 and was charged with drink driving, failing to state personal details and disorderly behaviour. He was taken to hospital for treatment of minor injuries and will face court at a later date. The ute was written off. Jacinta Allen will get to work today as the new Premier of Victoria. More from Stephanie Wocklewicz.
After 24 years in Parliament, Jacinta Allen hopes her appointment as the second female Premier of Victoria sends a strong message to women across the state.
Almost to the day when I walked into this place as a much younger woman from regional Victoria, I never expected to have this length of service.
The member for Bendigo East will follow in the footsteps of Joan Kerner after being elected Premier unopposed, avoiding a vote which would have left Victoria without a Premier for another month, after Ben Carroll withdrew a challenge and accepted the role of Deputy.
I've known JA for more than 20 years. She's not only a colleague, but she's a friend. It's been a privilege to work closely with her as the Public Transport Minister. I'm certainly looking forward to working closely with her as the Deputy Premier.
Almost 1,000 Defence Force personnel will be moved from southern to northern Australia in the biggest army overhaul in a decade. It's designed to prepare the nation's military for a possible conflict in the nearby Indo-Pacific. The Albanese government will also announce today the creation of a new army brigade focused on long-range strike and missile defence, which will be based in Adelaide. US Army Private Travis King is on a flight back to the US after being returned to American custody months after he crossed into North Korea. King had sprinted over the demilitarised zone from South Korea while on a civilian tour in July. It was feared the country would drag out his detention in hopes of squeezing concessions from Washington. But US State Department spokesman Matthew Miller says tensions between the nations remain high.
I would not see this as the sign of some breakthrough. I think it's a one-off with them being willing to return this private.
A property developer has lodged plans to build the nation's first underwater hotel. The 5-star project will cost $250 million and includes 6 hotel rooms with views of heritage-listed waters, including the Great Barrier Reef. And Channel 7 weather presenter Amelia Mulcahy has welcomed another little ray of sunshine, giving birth to son Ted a little earlier than expected at 36 weeks. He's a brother for 4-year-old Grace. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Get 10-year warranty and 10 years capped price servicing on the new Mitsubishi Outlander at Agostino Mitsubishi.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Kendall. Port Adelaide looks set to have its work cut out to get Geelong defender Asavo Ratuglia to the club during the trade period. Cats coach Chris Scott was in Adelaide yesterday for a grand final function and told reporters he wants to keep the 25-year-old.
I think we are on record as saying, or I am in particular, that I've been really invested in Asava and my preference is to keep him. So I don't see a deal getting done at all at the moment. Players are getting huge offers at the moment. We understand why that would be attractive.
Audio there thanks to Nine. Meantime, Collingwood and Brisbane will announce their sides tonight ahead of the grand final on Saturday. The biggest issue for the Lions is whether to pick defender Jack Payne, who missed last week with an ankle injury, while the Pies have confirmed Billy Frampton will replace Dan McStay. Let's go to cricket, and Australia has bounced back to form in impressive fashion, easily beating India by 66 runs in their third one-day clash in Rajghat. The Aussies still lost the series 2-1, but broke a run of 5 straight losses as they now switch focus to the upcoming World Cup. Meantime, South Australia will be in action today against Queensland in a one-dayer at Allan Border Field. To Rugby League, and Newcastle Knights captain Callum Ponga has surged up the leaderboard in the latter rounds to claim the NRL's prestigious Dally M Award. It was a double celebration for Newcastle, Tamika Upton taking out the Women's Award. And full-time in third-round League Cup action this morning, Newcastle upsetting Manchester City 1-0. Liverpool had a 3-1 win against Leicester. Arsenal 1-0 winners against Brentford. Chelsea also 1-0 victors over Brighton. Everton held off Aston Villa 2-1, while West Ham had a 1-0 win against Lincoln City. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Louver House, the leaders in turning your outdoor space into a great entertainment area with an opening and closing roof.
Crash at Bridgewater slowing things up this morning. It's on the freeway down track, the Old Kerry Gully Road. Pretty solid delays there too. Lane out of action, Old Noarlunga, Main South Road near Victor Harbour Road. Busy for works at Onkabringer Heights, Main South Road near Patapinda Road. And slow with quite heavy traffic, Brighton Road at Glenelg East. Cameras, Grenfell Road, Banksia Park and Jetty Road at Larks Bay. Big hair, shoulder pads and classic 80s hits are back in season 2 of the hit drama The Newsreader, streaming now free and ad-free on ABC iView. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Can't remember when you had your brakes checked? It's been too long. Call 1300 Automasters now.
Sunny and 25 today, sunny again tomorrow, 28, up to 31 on Saturday, and then cloudy for Sunday, 21. At the moment, 13. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
If you're living with a disability, injury or health condition and looking for work, visit maxima.com.au.
7 after 8. We just had a call from Sapole off the air a moment ago. There's a dead shark that's washed up on Grange Beach.
Wow. What species?
Don't know. About 200 metres south of the jetty. Police are on site. PIRSA is on site as well. PIRSA are going to investigate what's happened and then remove the shark.
I wonder how many people are just immediately going, I'm putting my thongs on, I'm heading down. I'd do that if I lived there. I'd go and have a look at it. It'd be amazing. 200
metres south of the jetty would be almost directly in line with my street.
Yeah, it would, wouldn't it?
It would be directly in line with my street. But further inland, obviously. If you do have any pictures,
please
flick them through on the Duttons text line. We'd love to have a look.
Head on down there, folks.
Is it a big shark or is it a small shark?
First person to send a photo through, we'll give them something.
Yeah,
what can
absolutely.
We give them?
Well, we'll give them something. Something great.
Yeah, something great.
Well-oiled machine.
Yeah.
82230000 is the number. Text us as well with a picture if you could, please. That would be great.
I'm getting so many texts from people. A mate of mine in Strathalbyn said he's had the same thing happen with his bin. But a lot of people in the Unley area, this is terrible. This is a real quality of life issue for Unley Park residents. You don't want your bin sitting out the front of your $8 million house with, uneaten foie gras and Savruga caviar sitting there in the sun for a week because the Unley Council hasn't kept up its side of the bargain. Guy in Highgate helpfully says, apparently though, if you ring the council, they'll give you the number for the waste disposal company and they'll report the issue and they'll pick it up the next day or so. But my mate Andrew in Strath, he said that, g'day Andy, he said apparently someone told him they don't shake the bins anymore. They just let gravity do the work for them.
Why? What's wrong with shaking?
I don't know.
Out of fashion in the garbage disposal world?
I don't know. What,
kind of gentler.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
The shake is kind of where it's all at. That's the whole point.
Yeah, you want to give it a good,
give it a shake.
Give it a bit of a shake. Otherwise, it's just going to sit there.
Otherwise, you just end up with a whole bunch of bin juice in the bottle. We got a Carolette Smart Dialer to give away. These things are valued at over $400. Wonderful peace of mind if you've got someone in your family who lives independently, but you'd like them to have something that means they're in contact with emergency services or whoever, if they're going to be, if they have a fall or get into trouble. They're just nice to have, and they'll make you feel so much more comfortable. You'll sleep better at night knowing that these are in the family. We've both had them in our families for a long, long time. These new fandangled ones look spectacular. They're a sleek little outfit. As I say, worth hundreds of dollars. All you need to do is call in right now.
You almost want to have a fall when you hold one of these, don't you?
That's how good they are.
Just to see if it works.
8223 is the number.
Treat.
Get calling right now with the sound off. Something that you want to just have your say about. Could be anything from... Look, David's demonstration was bin collection. Absolutely.
Not what it was.
Any subject, exactly right. What's happened?
Do you remember the golden days of bin collecting? I do.
Yeah. Well, actual people, not
well,
automated.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Garbos.
They shook the bins.
Now they're just drivers.
Exactly. 11 after 8, breaking at 8. We'll get to your sound off in just a moment, but get calling right now, 8223 0000, and get yourself a Care Alert Smart Dialer.
Well, there's a bit of concern in Liberal Party ranks about an event that's being held tonight at the Harndorf Convention Centre. The issue itself is not the nature of the event, which is about encouraging people to vote no to the voice at the referendum. It's more about the lineup of people. Now, it features Conservative Liberal Senator Alex Antic, but in addition to that, there's 3 other people who are political activists or MPs. One is Sarah Game, who's the One Nation state MLC. Then there's 2 people, one from the United Australia Party and another from a group called Flag Australia. Now, both of them are linked to some fairly out there sort of anti-vax views. The UAP had a lot of conspiracy theorists, lockdown conspiracists who were running as candidates at last year's state election. Now, the criticisms that are being made are, and Alex Antic is someone who's a free speech warrior, and he would say, I'm allowed to share a stage with everybody else. But the question mark is really being raised around the role of the new state president of the Liberal Party, Rowan Mumford, who's done all of the authorisation for this event. I've had Liberals say to me, why the hell is the state president of the Liberal Party helping to organise an event that's being attended by the UAP, Flag Australia and One Nation, when you consider how in the past, even going back to the days of Alexander Downer being leader, the Libs have been targeted in the past for sharing platforms with groups like the League of Rights and so forth. But beyond that, and this is the ideological debate at the heart of the Liberal Party right now, how is it that in a small Liberal voting area like the Adelaide Hills, where you've got a lot of green-tinted, middle-class, former Liberal voters, how are you going to win those people back by holding an event in the seat of Mayo, now held by Rebecca Sharkey, where you're sharing a platform with Flag Australia, One Nation and the UAP?
13 minutes after 8. Getting a report through that's pretty intriguing because it forms part of a pattern that may well be developing around the country. We got a text a moment ago from Vern in Mount Barker on the Duttons text line saying between Berry and Loxton, a 110 km/h sign, you know, the ones with the red circle and the black speed limit in the middle, has been altered with black tape between the top of the first one and the bottom of the second one for 110. So the sign now reads no. Now, it's just...
3AW put a photo up of it.
Well, no, the 3AW one is a different place.
That's in Melbourne.
That's a Melbourne highway.
In Victoria, yeah.
This is in South Australia. So independent of one another, you'd say they're just someone having a lark. But there's a couple of these things popping up. If you spot one in your travels, Any of our truckies listening too, out in the country, in the 110 zones, give us a call and let us know.
I got no issue with people if they want to put up no posters. You're allowed to put up no posters. There's plenty of yes posters up all over town. You can take whatever position you want on the referendum question, but interfering with speed limit signs
is an offence.
Is stupid, yes, and it's rightly an offence because in some parts of town and the state, it's hard enough to work out what the damn speed limit is anyway. So doing that is dangerous and rightly is against the law.
We just had it up on the Foodland Supermarkets Facebook and YouTube live stream. They both look, it's quite, they look quite similar. I don't know if someone's posted something in a group somewhere, maybe online. It's easy to coordinate these things these days.
Yeah.
So I just wonder if we'll see more of these over the course of the day. Only 2 spotted thus far. Maybe there's just 2. But maybe there's a campaign out there. We'll keep an eye on it. 8223 0000 if you want to sound off for the smart dialer. But we are running out of time. If you've got an issue that you are passionate about and you'd like to have your say, you don't get fact checked.
No.
We don't sit here and critique it.
Just cut loose.
We just give you a Care Alert smart dialer. It's as simple as that. David Koch is coming up very, very shortly. We're going to check traffic first. The final deadline in the Hospital Research Foundation home lottery is this Friday. Don't miss out. homelottery.com.au.
Thanks, Will. At Bridgewater, look out for a smash on the freeway down track near Old Kerrigully Road. Delays there at the moment. Lane out of action, Old Noarlunga, Main South Road near Victor Harbour Road. Slow, Regency Road at Regency Park. Getting busy, Brighton Road at Glenelg East. With a camera this morning, Perseverance Road at Tea Tree Gully. The King Living Spring Sale is on now. Save up to 50% on selected Australian design indoor and outdoor furniture. Sale on now. Visit the King Living Keswick showroom today. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Rowie and Timmy G on the 5AA Sports Show.
One of Port Adelaide and South Australia's greatest players passed away yesterday, Jeff Motley. Everything Jeff did was successful, whether it be playing, coaching, business, a player manager, and most of all as a father. I will miss having you as my looking glass into the most successful period in our club's history. Rest in peace, number 17.
4 p.m. weekdays on 5AA.
South Australia boasts many one-of-a-kind destinations, but only one has the best local produce, super specials, cheap eats, pantry essentials and more. With over 70 traders under one roof, the Adelaide Central Market has something for everyone. It's open every Tuesday to Saturday with late-night trading Friday, plus live music and free kids' activities on Saturday. If you can't visit the market, order online for home delivery every Tuesday, Thursday and Friday. AdelaideCentralMarket.com.
I was thinking we could do Thai fish cakes or a laksa.
Maybe I could do that white wine sauce you like.
With a fully equipped kitchen, you won't just eat. You'll dine under the stars in your Austrac camper.
Austrac campers.
Imagine the Australian classic, The Man from Snowy River, projected on the big screen with a 54-piece Southern Cross Symphony playing the iconic soundtrack live. What an experience.
We caught up yesterday with Tom Burlinson and Sigrid Thornton about this. Now, following sold-out performances across the country, we're pleased to announce The Man from Snowy River in concert is coming to Adelaide.
And what makes this special night even more amazing is the 2 stars who we chatted with yesterday, Sigrid Thornton and Tom Burlinson, will also be there, sharing behind-the-scenes stories and talking about why the film still means so much.
You can catch The Man from Snowy River in concert at Adelaide Festival Theatre in March 2024. Tickets on sale from 10 a.m. today at Ticketek, so hop to it.
Engaging from its popularity in other cities, you'd better book your tickets soon. This show sells out fast.
Will retirement living suit you? You're invited to FIVEAA's free Spring Open Day to get a sneak peek of the lifestyle you could look forward to. Come along with family and friends, enjoy refreshments and activities, and explore all our communities have to offer. There's even a chance to win $10,000 when you RSVP. With 4 events across Adelaide from the 7th to the 14th of October, take the first step and search FIVEAA Open Day today. RSVP is essential. See website for T's and C's. Licence number T23/1184.
Rosanna Mangiarelli here from 7 News. Join me and Will Goodings for Adelaide's leading news hour, 7 News, tonight at 6 o'clock.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Jobs, apprenticeships, traineeships and careers. Maxima can help. Learn more today at maxima.com.au.
18 after 8, Koshy in just a moment. We'll be sounding off as well. Colin in O'Halloran Hill is just getting his his sound-off thoughts together. And then after 8:30 today, we're going to be talking with the Motorcycle Association of South Australia about this spate of incidents we've had, not just this year, but especially in the last 7 days. Multiple fatalities, multiple people with life-changing injuries, as Sapol described it a little bit earlier today. Another crash this morning. A lot of this going on, and I think the best and most valuable contributions to this conversation have been from people who are out there every day riding motorcycles. They've texted us and have given us some really thoughtful positions on this. So we will get back into that topic after 8:30. And if you are a motorcycle rider, give us a call. Tell us what you think. Maybe you think it's all overblown. Whatever it might well be, we'd love to hear your perspective.
Also, if you are the first person on the scene at Grange, 200 metres south of the jetty, give us a ring, 8223 0055.
We want to see the shark.
We want you to be our reporter on the spot, telling us what sort of shark it is.
Yeah.
How big it is.
We're both really intrigued to see it.
Yeah, I want to know.
All right, it's time to
we might even be able to FaceTime the person and link their FaceTime to the Foodland live stream. Could we do that? Do we have the technology?
Well, anything's possible. I think the police have established a cordon, so we don't want you to sort of breach.
This could be breakthrough live streaming. This could be like Peter Arnett for CNN in Kuwait back in 91.
You can report for us, but please don't do anything illegal in the process.
No, I don't know.
This is why you made it to being an editor of a major newspaper. Okay, Colin's called in. Colin, time to sound off, my friend. Fire away.
All right, guys. So for all the people that use the Victor Harbour Road between the point-to-point cameras around Wollonga, I'm going to give you a lesson on how to use them. This is, use the cruise control in your vehicle, put it on 100, go past the first camera, stay on 100, go past the second camera, and you will not get a fine. You do not need to slow down to 60 or 70 kilometres an hour and hold up all of the freaking traffic that's queued up behind you just to make sure you don't get a speeding camera.
Oh, I love it.
Now, it is a 100 zone. It is not a 60 or an 80 zone. You can do 100 past the cameras. I'm a truck driver. It is very annoying. I do 3 or 4 trips a day down there. And when people have to slow down to 80 or 70, it's wrong. Do everyone a favour. If you can't do the speed limit, hand your licence in.
That is excellent.
That is a superb sound off, and you rightly, Colin, get the Care Alert smart dialer coming your way. I could not agree more. It is. I can only imagine what it'd be like as a truckie.
Oh. Some people seem to think you can average it out, that you can go up to 110 and then you can go back down to 90 and you hope that over the course of the kilometre
you've done okay.
You average out 99.94
people dropping
like
back.
Donald Bradman.
There's a spot on Grange Road where there's a speed camera and people think you have to go 40 through it, just in case.
Oh, I know that spot.
Thank you, Colin. You've got the Care Alert smart dialer coming your way. Care Alert GPS, the ultimate emergency alert system for falls and illness wherever you are. carealert.com.au.
And they could never...
Morning, gents.
Hey, Kochi, we'll get things back on an even keel after the slight frostiness of last week.
It was quite good fun, actually. I enjoyed it.
I know, it was. We all sort of threw the switch to traditional journalism, but...
only occasionally.
Oh, no, you guys are pros. Always are.
Yeah. I wouldn't go that far. Hey, Kochi, we start the week by talking about Port, but by talking about Port in a celebratory way, recognising the life and career of an amazing man, a great South Australian, Jeff Motley.
Extraordinary guy. Look, we have a lot of champions over the Port Adelaide history, a handful of legends. He is one of those legends, 9 premierships, McGarry Medal, Hall of Famer, AFL, the world's nicest bloke. The impact that guy had on us during the 50s and early 60s was just extraordinary, and his entire life, just a ripping bloke.
Yeah.
Loved Port Adelaide, loved everything it stood for, and he'll be dearly missed. And of course, he was a guy responsible for basically Buckley's AFL career as well.
Yeah.
So, that sports management side of it, a lot of people forget about. But he helped so many great footballers with their career.
Yeah.
Hey, Koshi, I'm interested in an AFL issue that's knocking around this week. North Melbourne's concessions. And just to give you some context, for people that Port fans will know this, but other people listening might not. When you guys went through a down period around 2011-12, Port Adelaide managed to build a list that was competitive for the next decade at the same time as GWS and Gold Coast got every second first-round pick for years. It's possible to do it in that environment. How in the hell does North get this kind of a leg up? What's your view on this?
Particularly over a number of years as well. And I think the key to the concessions that have gone through is, yes, they'll get sort of basically pick 19 this year, but then it's to be reviewed this time next year to see whether the second leg goes through. And I think that was the thing that consoled a lot of the AFL clubs and the president that it was just a one-off, at the bottom of the first round, so it wasn't a pick one or pick two, and then it would be reviewed the next year. Because, look, if a club's mucked up, they've got to get themselves out of it. And I can understand our coaches are really annoyed with it, saying, once again, it's another manipulation of the competition. And you've got to do it the hard way, like we have done, like St Kilda is doing now. That brings sort of character and changes culture within organisations. You've got to take responsibility. You just can't keep going out expecting the AFL to bail you out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you reckon we're going to get another interest rate rise, Koshi, before the end of the year?
No.
Ooh,
no.
Really? So you're not worried about inflation yesterday?
No, if you look at the details of the inflation figures and you go right into petrol, I think we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. Petrol prices were just going to be the sting in the tail because of rising global oil prices and the falling Australian dollar makes it a double whammy. But a lot of the other details, a lot of the other cost pressures are really starting to ease. So I think there was enough in that inflation figure for the Reserve Bank to continue to pause, at least for another month or two. Maybe in the new year, we could get another rate rise if the economic data doesn't go the way it should. But something like 85% of economists now expect another pause next week. So, bit of a breather, which is good. Long may it last.
Absolutely. Hey, great chatting to you, Dave. David Koch, Port Adelaide Football Club Chairman. We'll catch up again next week, mate. Have a great long weekend.
Okay. You too.
One thing I want to ask Koshi, I didn't want to put him on the spot then, but at some point we've got to ask him about the rumours about him being in the mix for the chairman's position of the AFL. Michael Warner wrote a piece that was the back page splash in the Tiser in Sport a week or so ago, saying that there's significant support within the AFL for David to become the successor to Richard Goyder. Probably Richard Goyder, every time he's mentioned at the moment, it's with a view to giving him the bums rush from every board that he's on.
He's fighting a war on two fronts at the moment. Hey, we've got a shark text in. Chris at Grange says the shark washed up on Grange Beach. He's put up a photo. We'll put that up on the Foodland Supermarkets Facebook and YouTube live stream.
What is it, though?
It's a bronze whaler.
It is a bronze whaler.
Fisheries believe... Chris has done some actual reporting for us here. Fisheries believe it was caught by a fisherman and released, but it didn't make it, obviously succumbed to its injuries. But it looks significantly... What would it be, 2 metres?
Oh, that's easily 2 metres. That trailer... That trailer looks like... Oh, two, maybe 2.5.
Yeah, it's a big fish.
They are majestic-looking animals, aren't they, the poor thing? Looks like it's been dead for a while. It's pretty stiff.
How good does Grange Beach look, by the way,
in
the background?
Look at that.
Look at that. It's fantastic. It's going to be a good long weekend.
We've got it up on the live stream, folks, if you want to have a look at the shark. Yeah. Big thanks.
Thanks to Chris in Grange.
Yeah, and something great's coming your way, Chris.
Yeah,
we're going to work out what it is during the 8:30 news.
All right, Chris has got John Williamson tickets.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah,
There we
good
go.
thought, Luce.
Hey, True Blue.
Yeah, we knew we'd come up with something great.
Fantastic.
Thank God for that.
On you, Chris.
Chris in Grange, you're off to see John Williamson, True Blue, in concert when he's here in Adelaide. That's going to be great. Thank you for doing some excellent reporting for us this morning. 5AA News is coming up. We're going to be talking motorcycle safety in just a moment.
Are you ready for massive Mazda savings? Mawson Lakes Mazda is having a huge demo clearance across the entire Mazda range. We are overstocked on current model Mazda demos that need to go. So be quick to snap up a demo deal in your favourite model and colour. There is no better time to take advantage of these amazing deals. Be quick, stocks won't last at these prices. Mawson Lakes Mazda, just a short drive from the city, Salisbury Highway.
Over 60,000 Adelaide homes have said yes to saving money on their energy bills with Yes, your energy saving solutions. What's keeping you? Did you know that you might be eligible for a rebate on a new appliance like a dryer or fridge? You might even qualify for a purchase you've already made. Just visit the Yes website for a list of appliances and the size of the cashback available. For T's and C's on this unbeatable offer from your energy saving solutions, go to yes.net.au. That's yes.net.au.
5AA favourite Barnsey from Barbecue Adelaide, Weber Stores, Jeps Cross and Mile End. He knows how to barbecue. He's got a huge announcement. Weber, drumroll please, has just released a brand new Q range.
30% of all Barbies sold in Australia are Weber Qs. They're legendary. And the new Qs are packed with features like a bigger cooking service, patio carts that have easy access to your gas bottle, new colours, and they're built to reach higher temperatures. Perfect for pork crackling.
Perfect for all sorts of things. It's going to be the hit this summer, so get down to Jeps Cross and Mile End where Barnes will be thrashing them in store every day just to show you how lit this thing is.
Get down to Barbecue Adelaide, Weber Stores, Mile End and Jeps Cross today or this weekend and prepare to get lit.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Sunny and 25 with the 8:30 news. I'm Kendall Brettig.
Physio Extra for Locomat robotic technology treating stroke, cerebral palsy, brain and spinal cord injuries. Visit physioextra.com.
Another motorcyclist has come to grief on our roads. The 36-year-old man lost control and hit a fence and a parked car on Castle Street at Glandore early this morning. He suffered serious injuries and was rushed to hospital. Police are investigating. It comes after 2 motorcyclists died on Tuesday following separate crashes, bringing the number of riders killed on our roads this year to 17. And a ute was written off after crashing into a light pole and a tree at Evanston Park last night. The 43-year-old driver blew over the limit and was taken to hospital with minor injuries. A dead shark has washed up on Grange Beach, around 200 metres south of the jetty. Police and primary industries officers are on the scene and will remove it when they can. It appears to be a bronze whaler which was caught by fishermen and released but didn't survive. More than 2 million small businesses will face new obligations as part of sweeping reforms to the Privacy Act. Michael Packey has details.
The Albanese government has accepted 38 of the 116 recommendations made in a landmark review of the Privacy Act. As things stand, businesses with a turnover of less than $3 million have no obligation to keep personal information secure or notify people if there's a data breach. This will change as part of the reforms, with businesses required to upgrade their IT systems and people will be able to demand their information is deleted. The government says it will work with small business groups to help them enhance their privacy protections.
The federal government says billions of dollars in cost of living relief is being distributed to help address rising inflation. New data shows consumer prices rose 5.2% in the year to August, the result mainly driven by higher petrol prices along with soaring rents, energy and insurance costs. Treasurer Jim Chalmers says the government's helping households where it can.
We do have people's backs. We're rolling out this relief, billions of dollars of relief, because we understand that people are doing it especially tough.
The new Victorian Premier has pledged to leave a new mark on the leadership after Dan Andrews officially vacated the role. But Jacinta Allen admits she will be compared to her predecessor.
I think comparisons are inevitable, and whether it's between premiers, the question about women in leadership roles, I think comparisons are always inevitable. So ultimately it's for people to make up their own minds, and Victorians, as we've seen, will very strongly make up their own minds.
An American soldier who fled into North Korea 2 months ago is on his way home. More from US correspondent Jonathan Kersley.
23-year-old Private Travis King will be returned to Texas after being expelled by North Korea in July after his release from a South Korean detention facility on assault charges. Private King dashed into North Korea during a public tour of the demilitarised zone. The US says it has been working to secure his release, but North Korea would not talk to American officials. Instead, there was a diplomatic move by Sweden and Private King was released, crossing into China, then flown to South Korea before returning to the US. American officials have thanked the governments of Sweden and China. North Korea claims the 23-year-old confessed to illegally intruding.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Get 10-year warranty and 10 years capped price servicing on the new Mitsubishi Outlander at Agostino Mitsubishi.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Kendall. Port Adelaide Chairman David Koch has hit out at the draft concession set to be handed to North Melbourne. The Kangaroos are set to be handed first-round picks over the next 2 seasons, and Koch has told David and Will it's hard to swallow.
If a club's mucked up, they've got to get themselves out of it. And I can understand our coaches are really annoyed with it, saying, once again, it's another manipulation of the competition.
Meantime, Brisbane and Collingwood will release their sides tonight ahead of the grand final. The Pies confirming Billy Frampton will play. Jack Payne will be the focus at Brisbane training this morning as he pushes to return from an ankle injury. Well, Kalen Ponga is praising the support of his family after his shock win at the Dally M Awards. The Knights captain surged up the leaderboard to beat Sean Johnson by a point. Ponga says he couldn't have done it without those closest to him.
Yeah, it's a proud moment for the family. We got well on this roller coaster as a player, but your family's in on it as well. And ultimately, the goal is to win a comp. But I mean, to pick up an accolade like this is pretty special.
Yeah, great result. Tamika Upton, also from Newcastle, won the Women's Award. And in the cricket, Australia has beaten India by 66 runs in the third and final one-dayer overnight. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now to the traffic.
Louver House, the leaders in turning your outdoor space into a great entertainment area with an opening and closing roof.
At Bridgewater, residual delays from earlier smash on the freeway down Old Kerry Gully Road. Lane still closed at Seaford this morning for works. Main South Road near Griffiths Drive. Busy at Onkaparinga Heights, roadworks there. Main South Road near Patapinda Road. And getting busy at Brighton Road at Glenelg East. Cameras, Exeter Terrace, Dudley Park. And Great Terrace at Rosewater. Harris Scarf's big stock take sale is on now. Final days to shop up to 60% off homewares in Manchester. Ends Monday. Exclusions apply. Harris Scarf, great brands, great prices. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Can't remember when you had your brakes checked? It's been too long. Call 1300 Automasters now.
Sunny and 25 today, sunny again tomorrow, 28, up to 31 on Saturday, and cloudy on Sunday, 21. At the moment, 14. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Meet the girls from the FIVEAA Milk Company, your local milk company. This is Matilda. Over here we got Daisy and Charlotte. Grace. This is Alice. Who else have we got? Nicole. Beverly.
With more moo in every bottle, look for FIVEAA Milk Company at independent supermarkets and the Adelaide Central Market. 100% local, 100% preservative-free.
Samantha. Barbara. She's a bit cheeky.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Jobs, apprenticeships, traineeships and careers. Maxima can help. Learn more today at maxima.com.au.
Twenty-three to 9 behind closed doors coming up. We'll have some fuel information for you in just a moment as well. If you're just joining us, thanks to our listener Chris down at Grange, we confirmed it's a bronze whaler, probably 2.5 metres long, that washed up on Grange Beach. The police alerted us to about 40 minutes ago.
How packed are the beach is going to be? You're right. Looking at that photograph, though, like once you get past marvelling at the shark, marvel at the water and the sand.
That's what I love about Adelaide. There's 10 k's worth of that kind of beach. And there's only 1 million people. Well, yeah, it's more. It's far more than
that. About 150.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
It's just unbelievable. We spoke with SAPO a little bit earlier, and the subject matter was significantly more grim. We had another motorbike crash to report on. I think it was Kate Dawson who we spoke to that made the point. In just the last little week or so, we've had 3 fatal motorbike crashes and 2 life-altering crashes. Life-altering in terms of the injuries that were suffered by the people involved. A lot of listeners who ride motorcycles that have called us this morning, and a lot of great contributions to discussion about how this can be made safer, if there's something that's contributing to these conditions, be it driver behaviour, rules, cars, roads, all of it. E.B. Lux is the Road Safety Officer for the Motorcycle Riders Association and does this stuff full time. E.B., good morning to you.
Good morning. How are you?
We're good, thanks, E.B. Why do you think we're seeing this huge surge in the overrepresentation of motorcyclists in the death and injury stats this year?
Look, I think there's a surge overall in road deaths, not just motorcyclists as a whole, okay? So I think we've got to actually change the conversation very slightly in that, first of all, a motorcycle, a body can only take a certain impact after which, unfortunately, death does occur. So that's the very, very basic grim fact that we just can't avoid. Now, the thing is that overall stats are rising right across the country. We've spoken to road safety ministers from both the government and opposition, and again, it's they're looking at it. They're trying to work out what they can do, and fortunately, we've actually had $3.8 million allocated in this year's budget to review the rider training process. That's something which is going to happen. There's money actually set aside specifically for that. We're very, very grateful that's happening. However, let's go one step further. Overall, if all of us at some stage have been involved in a road incident where somebody has come out of nowhere, you've been cut off, somebody's been speeding around you, and sort of stupid things are happening. And I'm sure that this is part of the reflection of the age of entitlement. I'm entitled to this piece of road. If you're in it, get out of it.
Yeah.
It's an attitudinal thing, and I think until we can actually address that, we're going to have a problem on our roads regardless, because we don't care about who else is around us.
That's a very astute point, mate, because I'm 54. Thinking back to the 70s, I can't remember road rage being as big a thing then as it is today.
No, I think I suppose a little bit more basic even, we had respect for each other in a lot of ways. We were still daredevils. We did stupid things. I remember when I first rode around, it was, if I could avoid wearing a helmet, I would. The gear I wore, thongs and t-shirt and that sort of stuff was ridiculous. I survived it. I was lucky. But the thing is that, the roads there's far, far more traffic on the roads. But at the same time, we're saying to each other, well, I've got to be there. You get out of my way, as opposed to, well, how about we share the road and we work together to get there safely? And until we get that attitude back again, we've got a problem.
Yeah.
Does that make sense to you guys?
What if we can't get that back? What can we do to make motorcyclists more safe?
Well, not just motorcyclists, everyone, cars as well, okay?
Sure.
I think the one thing that we've got to accept is that it's an interaction of road space that we're using, and until we get the fact that, everybody's in that same space, and we've got to, we each have a small portion of that space around us, it's a problem. Now, we know that internationally and also interstate, they're doing a lot of research at the moment on the psychology of attitude in road use. So work's actually being done on it. So perhaps there's an answer that lies in that. But I suppose you can legislate till the cows come home. You're not going to get if people want to ignore road rules, they will. So it comes back to, again, that whole idea of having respect and care for each other and working together as opposed to, this is mine, I'm going to do it.
Is it fair to say, E.B., that there is an element within the appeal of motorcycle riding that is also the thing that makes it so dangerous? I mean, thinking about the sense of freedom, the element of risk.
Yeah, there is that, and I think then again, if you the unfortunate serious stat is the fact that the majority of road injuries and deaths seem to occur more on the high-powered, faster machine than anything else.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, I think we've also got to accept the fact that the low-powered scooter, the delivery type machine, they unfortunately they don't go. Fortunately, I suppose they don't go fast enough to be involved in the serious accidents. But at the same time, if you have a look at the protection that a lot of these riders have, they, I suppose, for their pace, the injuries they incur are still quite serious.
Yeah.
So you've got to look at your bike, your attitude, the stuff you're wearing, because remember that on a motorcycle, unless you're wearing the protective gear, you're not going to survive a crash come hell or high water if you're not actually doing something to protect yourself. A decent helmet, a decent set of gloves, leathers, ideally, boots, those sort of things.
Yeah.
Wearing a t-shirt and thongs on a motorcycle doesn't work.
Yeah, for sure. They're great insights, Evie. Thank you so much. Evie Lux, Road Safety Officer for the Motorcycle Riders Association. It's something we discussed with the Police Commissioner, Grant Stevens, when he was in the other day.
There is no disputing that motorcycle riders are vulnerable road users. If you're involved in a collision with another vehicle as a motorcycle rider, the odds are well and truly against you. So if you overlay that with risky road use behaviour by motorcycle riders, then you really you're rolling the dice, and you're never going to win. So, we've got messaging. We've got a relatively recent campaign that is targeting motorcycle riders to.
Those ads are really powerful, aren't they? It's about the freedom.
And the whole purpose
traction.
The whole purpose of that ad was to sort of connect with avid motorcycle riders about the reasons they ride, and try and show the contrary position, that if you don't do it safely, then those experiences can be interpreted in a different way as a negative consequence.
Risky behaviour is obviously part of the equation. I like the component of Evie's chat, though, where he talked about, as a community, our attitudes to road use and how it contrasts with how it used to be. And without wanting to get too deep and philosophical about it, I wonder if it is in some part, a small part, a byproduct of the rest of the way society works these days, where everything is just choose your own adventure. I'll digest news from the people whose opinions I agree with. I'll watch whatever shows I want when I want to watch them. I will change lanes whenever the hell I want.
Or conversely, if someone tries to change lanes, I'll go, stuff that for a joke.
Yeah.
That's not happening. I'm just going to accelerate for no good reason and stop that person from doing what they want to do.
Like, everything's built increasingly around, which is by and large a good thing. You can choose what you want to do when you want to do it. But I wonder if the downside of it is there's a way in which
erodes tolerance.
Exactly right. Erodes tolerance because you're not forced to bump into other people, so to speak.
Yeah. Everyone's just got to calm down a bit, don't they?
I don't know.
As the great Taylor Swift once said.
I don't know where the culture became the slightest misstep or offence on the road became a reason to fly off the handle, like your mother had just been insulted.
I know, it's pretty funny.
It's weird, isn't it?
I wonder if people who do that sort of stuff ever actually reflect afterwards, go, I made a bit of a pork chop of myself there.
Well, I think the best self-aware observation about road behaviour, and I think everyone, if you're honest, feels this way, is that everyone who drives slower than you is a moron, and everyone who drives faster than you is crazy.
Yes.
And everyone feels that way. 13 to 9, interested in your thoughts, folks. 8223 0000. Text us on the Duttons text line. Knocking out great deals on the VW and Subaru demonstrators in the demolition sale. Duttons, easy to do business with. We'll check traffic and come back with Blakey in a moment. The final deadline on the Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery is this Friday. Don't miss out, homelottery.com.au.
Thanks, Will. In the city, fallen tree on North Terrace at King William Street, blocking one lane there. Bridgewater, residual delays from nearly a smash on the freeway down Trick near Old Kerrigalli Road. In the hills around Ashton, look out for road closure kicking off from 9 this morning due to tree pruning. That'll be Lobethal Road. Got detours via Stony Rise Road and Deviation Road. With a camera this morning, Tapley's Hill Road at Glenelg South. Freedom's mid-season sale is now on. Save up to 25% off selected sofas, living and dining furniture. Hurry, sale ends Monday, only at Freedom. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Coming up on 5AA Mornings, dry zones in Glenelg could be expanded to a block either side of Jetty Road to combat a spike in drunk and disorderly offences. And an Adelaide Hills MP's reaction to not enough bus drivers to cover services to and from the city, saying pay and conditions need to be improved, and it's not limited to Hills routes either. We'll speak with the Drivers' Union. I'm Matthew Pantelis. Join me from 9.
Turn your humble barbie into a humdinger with Hot Shots barbecue briquettes. They burn longer and hotter, offering more consistent heat when cooking. So if it's some quick snags for the kids or a full day cook for family and friends, Hot Shots barbecue briquettes will fuel your flame. To help celebrate the little occasions, check out our Barbie recipes and tips at hotshotsfuel.com.au. Hot Shots barbecue briquettes, 100% Aussie made. Look for them at your local Bunnings today.
The absolute final deadline in the Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery is midnight tomorrow. Don't let the $5 million dream home in Hyde Park slip away, or the chance to take $4.5 million in cash. You could soon be mortgage free and putting all your dreams into reality. Get your tickets by midnight tomorrow. See full details at homelottery.com.au. That's homelottery.com.au. Licence M14411.
The Man from Snowy River in concert is coming to Adelaide. Join Sigrid Thornton, Tom Burlinson and the 54-piece Southern Cross Symphony live, playing the award-winning score with this timeless Australian classic on the big screen. 2 shows only at Festival Theatre March 2024. The Man from Snowy River in concert. Book now at Ticketek.
Step up your camping game. Step up to air conditioning. And step up to a kitchen and ensuite with mains pressure cold and hot water. This summer, step up to an Austrac camper.
Austrac Campers.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
If you're living with a disability, injury or health condition and looking for work, visit maxima.com.au.
10 to 9, another kangaroo. It's 3 straight days we've had kangaroos on metropolitan roads. Got a photo text into us of a roo on Glenburn Road that's just been sent in. You can see it on the Foodland Supermarkets Facebook and YouTube live stream right now. We're going to check traffic in a moment. Sean's called in on the issue of motorbikes. Morning, Sean.
Morning, guys. I just had a thought with the motorbike safety. Most of the motorbikes seem to be dark with the dark leather. And as you approach a corner, you see them side on. And my suggestion is I was thinking some sort of lighting on the side of the bike so we can see them as we're coming towards a corner.
Yeah, that might be an idea.
Yeah, why not? I mean, every measure that improves safety by even the smallest percentage is a worthwhile idea. Thank you, Sean. Appreciate you calling in. Let's have a look at the fuel situation. Download the free RAA app today to find the cheapest fuel in an instant. The cheap ones are these, and they've come down a bit, which is good news. The United Sunnybrook Drive Windvale, $2.01.7. The ex-convenience Torrens Road Woodville North is at $2.11.9. The cheapest, though, is down south, where it's well under $2. The BB at 5 Ash Drive, Pasadena, is at $1.93.7. Thank you very much. The cheapest diesel, United Main North Road, Paraka, at $2.09.3. We're going to be chatting with Matt and Laura from Clarity Records on the program tomorrow morning, because they're the sponsors of our Grand Vinyl Eve party that's taking place tomorrow night.
We'll be spinning some discs.
I think we've got... It's a lot of music. It's 30-odd songs, I think.
Well, it's two components. It's not only the listener-driven, which song best represents the club from the 2023 season, but it's also got a very exciting top 10 countdown as part of it as well.
And good luck any FM station playing 30 songs in 3 hours.
Oh.
So this is...
We'd have a couple of cackling half-wits coming on telling some made-up story about something weird that happened to them at the supermarket the other day, wouldn't you?
I think it's what we do in between, though, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a bit of that.
Yeah. Anyway... Tomorrow night, 7 to 10, all thanks to Clarity Records, your fully independent record store serving the local music community for over 13 years. Clarity Records, 60 Pulteney Street.
One of my many happy places, Clarity Records. I could spend hours in there.
They're really nice people too.
Yeah.
You'll hear them tomorrow morning. Let's go behind closed doors thanks to Aussie Fast Transport Solutions, interstate freight distribution, warehousing and local Adelaide couriers. Call Aussie Fast, 13 13 64.
And when we get behind closed
13.95. Adelaide's 5AA. This is Andrew Reimer.
And welcome along to the program. 3 hours of Talkback interactive radio with me, Andrew Reimer. And today, in case you didn't know, is World Punctuation Day. World Punctuation Day, very important. You've got to know where to put your apostrophes and full stops and all the rest of it. Otherwise, things could be taken completely out of context and make them very hard to understand the weather for tomorrow. Fine with a top of 22, and let's face it, punctuation is just as important as correct pronunciation. Don't forget you can SMS me on the text line 044808 1395. And here's an SMS from John at Athelston. He says, "G'day Andrew, absolutely thrilled to have you on 5AA tonight. Looking forward to your delicate balance of rhymer humour and the occasional channeling of Bob Francis." Thank you very much for that SMS, John. I do try to make my style of humour easy to understand for everybody listening by saying boom boom at the end of every joke I make so that everybody can join in the endless fun. I see that Ingham's workers have ended their strike. They've secured the pay rise that they were after, and that certainly had ruffled some feathers, boom boom, when they weren't at work. But now it's good that they've come out of their shell, boom boom, and cracked a new deal, boom boom, with management, because being underpaid is no yoke, boom boom.
George has called in. Morning to you, George.
Yeah, good morning. I'd like a listener to explain to me one day, because no one else can. You remember that our diesel has always been much cheaper than petrol all my life, right? It's always 20 cents, 10 cents, it's always 10, 15% less. Now, that's logical because it's the first product processed from oil, right, apparently. Petrol's refined diesel, I've been told. Now, why all of a sudden, everywhere you drive, diesel's 20 cents dearer than petrol? What is going on out there, guys?
I've never heard it explained either, George.
I don't know why that's the case.
Well,
it's just a supply and well, it can't be because it's been produced anyway.
Why don't we see if Mark Borlace knows and try to get him on the show tomorrow?
We'll get an answer for you, George.
If anyone can explain it, it's our good friend Mark from the RAA.
Yep, we'll get an answer for you.
But I'm bugging if I know.
Stay listening.
Used to be a reason for buying a diesel car. When I first got a Hilux in about 2010, I was like, oh, this is good. It's a diesel.
Not now.
No.
The Rolling Stones' new first album of original material recorded in 18 years is set to come out in about a month's time, October 20. In fact, it's under a month now. Today, the next track is being released. Sometime today with a time difference, but 28th of September is the date they're releasing Sweet Sounds of Heaven. It's a collaboration between the Stones, Lady Gaga and Stevie Wonder.
We need a bit of Keith. I'm sure Keith will, get off his chaise lounge and.
That's a real. That's the snippet they released. Surely. There will be the full version out later today. So I suspect that's not necessarily a representative part of the song. It's just a tease.
I hope Stevie's getting back to his funky best, a la Talking Book, after the atrocity that was I Just Called to Say I Love You.
That was no good.
Oh, that song. How did Stevie Wonder write that song? The guy wrote, Superstition, and then he comes out with that dross. Remember that scene in High Fidelity? Terrific film.
So that's it sounds like there's going to be tracks released every couple of weeks from the Stones ahead of the release of the full album October 20. Couple of texts to round us out, and then we'll hand over to Matt Pantelis.
A lot of people here agreeing with the point that Abby made. Morning, guys. I feel the anger on the road stems from a larger, deeper issue in society where people are just so angry nowadays, mostly stemming from a lack of control in their personal lives and aggravated further by the rising cost of everything just to exist. The road is a place where people feel like they're in control, and when things happen that contradict that feeling, people often respond with a sort of hyper anger. Another one here making a similar point. From Michelle, the attitude of motorists on our roads has changed from the past, with a lack of respect for the road rules and a lack of wanting to do the right thing. Thank you for that, folks.
That is all from us. We're out of time. Stick around for Matthew Pantelis. Beautiful Adelaide Thursday on the way. Enjoy it. We'll catch you tomorrow morning from 6 o'clock.
See you then.
Do you suffer from indigestion after eating? Do you get an uncomfortable